Shirt show. All right, let's go.
Shirt show! Talking shirt! Shirt show! Talking shirt! Shirt show! Talking shirt! Shirt show! Talking shirt, man! All right! Episode 321 of Shirt Show! We're talking with Dennis from Axelrad in Pennsylvania! Let's go!
Hey guys, if you're new here, my name is Dylan. I am the owner of Upstate Merch and the host of the Shirt Show podcast. My guest today was Dennis from Axelrad Screen Printing in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. He's a super cool dude. I actually just met him for the first time last Thursday. Christina and I went down for visiting shops and saw a bunch of places, stopped there. I've heard of them. I knew about them. I really wanted to stop by and see if they would give me the time of day to show me the shop, and they were more than welcoming and showed me around, and I got to meet Dennis, and I was super excited on what he had. And I thought, hey, you'd be great for the show. I'd love to hear your full story. So that's what we got today. We went all over the place. We talk about metrics. We talk about AI. We talk about what it is to be a DIY punk kid in this space and growing to, he's been doing it for 17, 18, 20 years now. And same as me. And it's like, this is what we go through to get to where we are now and the challenges of everything. So this whole episode was kind of about that, about the coming of age and what it is to run a print shop in this day and age, I guess. But it was fun. It was awesome. If you want to hear some behind the scenes stuff about Shirt Show, about myself, about shop hacks, industry news, anything like that, we have a weekly newsletter that comes out. It'd be awesome if you'd sign up and hang out with us. It is shirtshowofficial.com/newsletter. There's probably a link in the description of the video too if you're watching. You should check it out. It's pretty cool. Also, if you are watching or listening, the best thing you can do to help us out and spread this show is to share it on Instagram, on your stories, on LinkedIn, on Facebook, whatever it is you're on. Send me a DM. Let me know how things are going. Let me know if there's a guest you want to have on or a topic you want me to hit up. You can hit me up on Instagram at ShirtShowOfficial. You can hit us up on our website, shirtshowofficial.com. I would love to hear from you guys, but if you can support the show, the best thing you can do is like, subscribe, share, all those things. It means the world to us. It helps the show get out there to more people. And all we want to do is help printers. So if you could do that, that'd be awesome. Thank you. Also, if you want to join a community of printers, embroiderers, artists, all kinds of things, you can sign up for our Discord channel, shirtshowofficial.com/Discord. It's totally free. You can download the app on your phone. You can do it on your computer. It's a community of printers. You can go on there. You can join a channel. You can be in the main chat. It is very supportive. It is not like Facebook where people are just trolling and talking shit to you all day. It's awesome. I would suggest hopping in there. It's very active. Nobody is going to talk smack to you. You can ask any question you want and you will get some answers. This show would not be possible without our amazing partners. Frank. It all starts with a screen. Whether it's new frames or restretches, Frank and his team do it the best. If you care about consistency, great registration, and buttery smooth prints, stop buying crappy screens and invest in the best. Learn more at graphicscreenfashion.com, greatfuckingscreens.com, or ffffrank.com. Also, I just got off the phone with Frank the other day, and he has these new screens out now. I don't know if you guys have seen them, where the internal part of the frame is angled in a little bit. They look awesome. There's some benefits to them. We were talking about some cool stuff. He's sending me some to try out, where in like Reclaim, there's not a lot of bounce back. It's easier to keep ink off the frame. A little more room in your auto when it comes to the flood stroke. There's a lot of things. I'm excited to try them out. I will keep you guys posted, but you should definitely get some frames from Frank. You're missing out if you're not. Let's be real. Reclaiming screens kind of sucks, but EasyWay makes it suck way less. Their line of eco-friendly chemicals and equipment are built to clean faster, work better, and save you some sanity in the washout booth. They're running a monthly giveaway right now where you have a chance to win $250 in product credit. Head over to easyway.com/giveaway to enter today. EasyWay. It's the easiest way. More and more, I hear from people now, hey, I need help in the art department. Do you know somebody who can do quality steps? I need good digitizing, all these things. I hear it all the time. I can't stress enough that Graphics Source, they really do have your back. Like, we use Graphics Source all the time for a la carte stuff. We have an in-house art person. He gets backed up. If we need help with complicated steps that are going to take up a bunch of his time, we will send it to Graphics Source. They will charge us for that one piece. We get it back, put it on press, run it. It's great. If you need somebody full time, say you are trying to run a shop and you're wearing all the hats, hire Graphics Source. They will be your full-time art department. They will handle all those things for you. It's worth its weight in gold to a printer. I would check them out. Go to graphicsource.com or hit up Nick or, a bunch of other people on the team. It's worth checking out if you need help in the art department. SNS is that behind-the-scenes partner that every shop needs. With one website, one purchase order, 14 distribution centers, and over 100 beloved brands, you can streamline your ordering and hit free freight faster than ever. SNS has 1 to 2 day shipping with the lowest error rate in the industry, making your orders show up on time. Order your blanks the smart way at ssactivewear.com. For over 90 years, Stahls has been the leading choice among apparel decorators for their heat transfer materials, heat press equipment, and custom transfer services. Not only do they continue to set the bar, but they are number one in education on all things heat press. Be sure to check them out on YouTube and order your transfers, patches, and so much more from stahls.com. More and more we talk about in this episode too, transfers, patches, anything heat applied, Stahls is the place to go. They have everything, super knowledgeable. The biggest when it comes to education. I would highly recommend checking them out if you are doing anything of the sort. Ryonet has always been that solid go-to resource for screen printers with rock-solid supplies, deep educational resources, and a support network that has your back. Ryonet has the tools and the knowledge to help you move forward. Be sure to check them out at screenprinting.com. Next month, I will actually be out at Ryonet for their open house. So if you are in the area or you're going to go to that event, I would love to see you. Come say hey. Most of us are using Bella Canvas for the 3001 CVC, among a bunch of other things that they offer, but we know those are your go-tos when it comes to getting your customers a great shirt. What you might not know is they have a bunch of new products out that you should really check out. They have some really awesome heavyweights. They have the 4810 GD, which is the garment dye, and the 3010 heavyweight, which is one of the shirts I've been wearing a lot. We just got a bunch of shirts here for the Upstate Shop shirts. They fit really well. They drape really well. It's just an awesome shirt all around. The garment dye stuff is amazing too. You should really check it out. If you want a sample, reach out to Christina at bellacanvas.com and she will send some stuff out to you. Or you can get everything exclusively at Sandmar as well. A new partner of the show is SETI. We had them on the show not that long ago. I talked to you guys about them. I think it is a amazing new tool to get your customers a high quality mock-up and tech pack. It streamlines a ton of stuff in the shop when it comes to being prepared, having everything out to production as far as placement notes, Pantones, image sizes, all of these things. And again, it's an awesome first impression for your customer when they open the email and it has that sweet tech pack. They have a 3D mock-up that they can go in and scroll through and look at it from all sides. It's pretty sweet. Also, a huge benefit to it too is if you do online stores, you can create like everything you would normally put in a store, upload the image, and it populates on everything. So you don't have to sit there and meticulously make every single one of those mock-ups. It does it quick, easy, and you can have a store up in no time. Check them out at SETI.com. Well, again, I want to say thank you to everybody who's listening or watching. It means the world to me. A lot goes into these episodes. Again, if you can help by liking, subscribing, sharing these episodes with people, it means the world to me. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoy this episode, and I will see you on the next one. What's up, dude? How are you?
I'm very well. How are you?
I feel like I just saw you.
Yeah, no, it was only a couple days ago. We're like
Thursday.
Right at the end of the day here because we go till 5. So I just came off my computer, like scheduling for tomorrow, and came straight in, and I still got the energy going.
That's good. I'm glad you have that because for me, it's like the all day at my desk doing emails, and I'm like, man, I could use standing up, but you know what I'll rather do? I'll sit down with Dennis for like 2 to 3 more hours. So
well, I appreciate it. I appreciate your time.
Yeah, hell yeah, dude. Thanks for signing up to do this on short notice. It was nice because it was like, oh yeah, we got a couple people booked, but we have some gaps. Let's send out some invites to people we really want to talk to. And it was like, let's do it tomorrow. And I was like, hell yeah.
And I like short notice because like I don't like overthinking about things. I think if we booked it for like 3 weeks, I'd be like, what should I say? What am I don't want to get in my own head. I want it to be as real as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes when I have time to ruminate, it goes a little too far.
Yeah, you overthink it a little bit. I get it.
Yeah.
So last Thursday, me and Christina decided, hey, let's go to Pennsylvania. We'll go visit some friends. We'll see some shops, whatever. And I was like, the night before I was Googling, I was like, what shops are like within the like PA area to drive? And I was like, oh, fuck yeah. Like Axelrad's one I really want to stop at. And then we did Lancaster Print House. And we did a couple other ones in there that kind of were quick visits. Nobody really cared. It was more like, hey, let's stop in and like drop off Bella Canvas stuff and hop out. But in general, it was just like walked into your guys' place, and it was like you said, like end of the day, and just a couple salespeople were up front, and then I was walking back out because Christina needed some samples out of the car, and then we locked eyes real quick, and it was like, hey, I know you. Hey, I know you. And then I got the tour, which was awesome.
Yeah. I actually saw you. I do planks every day at like the end of the day, try and stay in shape. And I was like in our conference room where I am right now. And I saw you. I'm like, is that the shirt show? I'm like, is he here? I was like, thought I was like daydreaming or something. So it was really cool to see you unexpected.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's awesome.
I love that.
Well, again, like got to see the place. It was, you guys are a lot bigger than I thought it would be as far as just like the shop size, but then like the actual like building as far as like getting in. And then once I got into the back too, I was like, man, you guys got, what would you say, like 8 presses back there?
Yeah. And our building, it's funny. It's kind of like an optical illusion, the way it like sits in the neighborhood. Like from the front, it looks like we just have the one sales building, and it's like weirdly positioned. Yeah. The factory in the back, you can't see it until like you come through our lot, and then you walk into the building and it opens up in a whole facility. Like even the first time when we bought this building, when I toured it, I was like, whoa, I was like, there's a whole factory back there. It's really strange.
Yeah, that's weird. But I would love to get your background, like, because we talked a little bit about doing this, for 17 to 20 years ish. When did you get involved in the print world?
So my story, and it kind of is like almost the cliche screen printer. Like I came from the DIY punk background. So our owner, Dave, I have known him for like 35 years, and I'm 40. So since I was a little kid, and we had known each other through BMX and, playing bands, playing music. We were kind of the whole same crowd. And when you do those things, you get into, DIY culture, you're exposed to it. And I started printing t-shirts. I ordered a press offline. I forget the name of the website when I was like 17. I paid like $800 for like a 4-head 2-station manual.
Dude, $800 back then is a lot.
Yeah, it was a lot. I forget where I got the money from. It was like, I don't know, it wasn't like graduation or something, but it was like one of those events you wait for when you're a teenager because you're going to get some money.
Yeah.
And I invested in a press, and I didn't even know like how to cure the ink. And I'm like, you need a flash dryer. So then I eventually just had to keep going. I had to get a light box eventually, the whole thing. But so I was printing shirts because I had like my own clothing company when I was like around 18. And then eventually when I was in a band, I was printing shirts for that too. But Dave had, so this would be 2003, 2004. So, and Dave, who I'd known forever, he was in college at that time. He's a little older than me. So he was printing like his stuff too, doing the same thing. He had like his own like clothing stuff, printing for bands. But then when he was like 23, 24, he like called me and was like, hey, I'm going to start doing this print shop thing. And like he set up in his mom's basement, and he was way more motivated than me. I was like, I'll bring over my press that I haven't touched in like 6 months, whatever. And I went over and I would print some of my own stuff. He started getting like accounts and, clearly was just way more motivated, made a whole nice setup. So we started this in his mom's basement in 2005 or 6. And it wouldn't be till like 3 years later, we actually got a physical location, but I didn't really have anything to do with that early phase. I just had a press that I brought over that he also used to like start the business. Cause I was young. I was like 19. I was not ready to like be serious about anything. And he was, so I was kind of just like, I don't know. I'm not really going to do this.
Do you think his mindset was more like the business side of it, of like, oh, well, I have the connection to get clients. I'm a people person. I can make this happen kind of thing?
Yes, and in the beginning phase, so I didn't really come back in until 2009. So a bit like 2, 3 years later, because I was still in college. And in the meantime, he had built the whole foundation of the business by that time. So by the time I came back into it, I can't take credit for starting it, and I wouldn't, but I was like the second like employee to come back
Right.
and like start from the beginning when we just had like a single manual press and stuff. So I was there since the very beginning when I was the fourth employee, because we have our two owners, Dave and Matt, who are partners. Matt does our art department side of things, and then Dave does the whole business end and sales. And then our head printer, who's still with us today, Todd, he came from a different shop. He was hired first, and then I came in fourth. So, and that would have been 2010, early 10, late 2009. So we're talking 16 years.
What pulled you back in then?
I graduated college and needed a job, but the thing, I needed work, and I was playing in a band at the time still. So Dave was like, "Oh, you could come in and print nights, whatever, because you get to do that with screen printing. You could kind of do the work around your schedule and at certain times." And I was drawn to that. I was still very interested in art. I still am, and making clothes at that time. So like, it wasn't a stretch, and I never lost touch with them, but we just came back, and I had been here ever since, except in 14 and 15, I lived in Los Angeles. I was playing in my band still at the time. So I moved away for like 2 years and then came right back. And so really steady for 15 years now. I know I kind of jumped around there. There was kind of a lot in between.
You went from, I was 19 years old, had a press to been here 17 years.
And there's so many phases between them that and so that's the one thing that I could share about my experience is I have been, and you've seen the size of our shop, I have been to from when this was just a single press all the way up. So all the equipment, like when we learned how to mix Pantone systems, like big technology, all of these new things when they were coming through. So at every phase, we've grew this business from that level.
I think that would be an interesting way for us to go about this too, is like, not a lot of people are employees or other than owners. It's kind of like, we've been through the weeds. We've figured this out from DIY all the way to more commercial printer with, 8 autos and a bunch of employees and serious shit that we got to do. I remember those early days. Like, I had no idea what anything was. Like, again, you guys were doing it in his mom's garage or basement or whatever.
Basement,
and it's like, no idea. You're just like, I think I can do this, and I need to do this for a band, or I need to make this happen. Like, we were printing, I remember I just grabbed a random plastisol off a shelf. I didn't even know how old it was. I didn't know anything about it. It was like in a sign shop. I put it in a screen, which I knew nothing about mesh. I had no idea what anything was. We were using capillary film, so we'd like take it out of the container, like wet the screen, roll it on, like let it dry, burn a screen. I think it was on like a bullshit like daylight light bulb from Home Depot or something. And like just printed shirts and held them underneath the homemade flash until the way I was taught by my ex-wife's grandfather was, when it starts smoking, it's done.
It's pretty good. That's still a pretty good rule.
And I was like, oh, okay. Like, this is the scientific term for curing the shirt, was if it's smoking, it's got to be like, ready to go. But I remember we were just going to like, Michael's and Target and Walmart or whatever and grabbing random blanks. Yeah.
There's that chain of art stores. I don't even know if there's still a thing. It was Dick Blick, it was called. They sold like speedball ink and stuff. And we had one like an hour away, and I would drive to it just to get like consumer level screen printing equipment, like, the little squeegee and stuff. Cause it was the only thing at the time. This is really before like online commerce was really like even that good. It was getting good, but not at that time. So you still had to go hunt things down and find a supply house and stuff.
I didn't even know about any of that. Like, I never bought a speedball kit until somewhat recently. I think someone gave me one. Maybe Christina gave me one as like a gag Christmas gift or something, like a little speedball kit of like, oh, teach me how to screen print kind of thing. And I just had no idea. I was just winging it, and we were just printing shit for the band, and it worked. And then I was like, hey, like, people like this, and it's working, and it makes us money, and other bands are asking us to print their stuff. And then it literally has been that, just in the learning every single day for 20 years. Like there was
Same.
no fucking, it was all DIY. And then we bought, we went to a 2-car garage, which actually was just a 1-car garage, working out of there. And then we were only there for a year, and it was, folding shirts outside because there's no room inside. And I think, was it you were talking about that too? Like you guys had to
we still have like a covered area, and we'll just pull stuff outside. But yeah, we have a very similar background getting into this.
Yeah. Well, we were talking about East Coast Terminal too. So it's kind of funny.
Yeah, which is great. That was my home away from home on Friday nights.
Yeah. Well, we were friends with Derek Nelson, and he has HCS here now, which is like the BMX skate park thing. It's like out of his dad's old lighting, warehouse or whatever. Yeah. But yeah, it was just kind of like what we did. We did BMX and skateboarding and bands, and then we printed shirts, and then we were like, hey, we can make money at this and not get real jobs.
Yeah, and I think that's about screen printing is this, like, of all the things that I was doing at that time, like in the DIY, that's the one where I was like, oh, you can get into the world with this and make real money. Right. It was like the only avenue of all of the things, because I was printing stickers and stuff too, but t-shirts, I was like, oh, everybody needs t-shirts. I'm like, still one skill that I learned from this that's like, that can be derived into the rest of society. So, I think that's why we chased that one.
Well, it's also like you're making bullshit shirts for some band, and then, that band's dad owns a construction company. He's like, oh, can you make shirts for me? And that's where the switch is of like, oh, like you said, like, oh, we can do this for other people and make money. It's not just like helping out a buddy. It's like a real thing. And I don't know. It's crazy how it evolves like that.
It is. And what's fascinating to me about it is like, so we're talking 20, 25 years ago. And even now, with all the technological advances, the barrier to entry into screen printing is still difficult. It's still not something that like everyone could just get into, because it's still really hard to do. So like, even with all the technology, like, it's still, if you have it as a skill, everyone needs someone to make them t-shirts, and not everyone could kind of figure out how to do it, because it is a difficult business, as I'm sure I don't need to tell you. It is a difficult way to make a living. And once you get good at it, it's hard to get to that level of like where you can confidently produce for customers regularly. So like once you get there, you're good, but it's a hard barrier to entry. In my opinion, I think it still is.
I think it's one of those things though too, is like, if you have an artistic mind, you can start on like the super small level of like a speedball kit or, something from Craigslist, and you can print a bullshit shirt. But yeah, there's a different level between like being able to somewhat make a t-shirt and call it like I'm a professional screen printer level thing. Yes. There's people I see all the time that are like, oh, I, paint a manhole cover and then rub a shirt on it, and I'm calling that I'm a printer and whatever. And like, yeah, that's cool, but that's like a different level. Like that's not,
it is a different thing,
necessarily the same thing. And I actually had a conversation today with somebody, I won't say who it was, but like they don't do screen printing, they do the DTF mostly, and then like a bunch of other stuff. And they were like, I want to take the next step into offering screen printing. And then it was like, I was like, yeah, well, they were like, oh, I want to buy like an entire shop. Like I want to buy a shop that's going out of business or something, so that I have like most everything I need and somewhat of a book of business and whatever. And I'm like, I don't want to go that route, because I don't want to pull in somebody else's, bag of cats or whatever. Like there's so much shit that could be bad there. I'm like, I would rather start with, well, the funny thing is that I had an opinion going into the conversation, and then by the end of it, I changed my own mind. But it was like, I was like, yeah, buy like a newer small press. And then I was like, oh, well, then you're gonna have to buy screens. Oh, then you're gonna have to buy ink. Then you're gonna have to build a dark room. Then you're gonna have to do, and I was like, fuck yeah, this is hard. Like it isn't as easy as like, oh, just get into screen printing. Cause like if you get into DTG or DTF or something, it's like buy a printer and a heat press. Screen printing is like, oh, you got to get a press, and you got to get a chiller, and you got to get an air compressor, and you got to get screens, and you got to get inks, and you got to get a dark room, and you got to have a washout. And it's like all these things. And I was like, oh, and you have to learn every single aspect of that.
Everything. And that's what I meant by the barrier to entry, in my opinion, is still high, because you could take, I could guarantee, like there's a factory next door to us. I don't even know what they make. I think they fabricate like metal shelving. we could take their like production manager and their whole team and throw them the keys to this place and it wouldn't work. I was like, it's just different. There's something about screen printing that's like the artistic angle to it, like the level of commitment that you need to figure out every step of it. And like, and I'm sure you've seen this. We've had customers like corporate customers or whatever, or large. They're like, oh, you know, we're going to start doing this in house, or we're going to try to figure out a way to produce our merch
Always
on our own
badly.
or whatever. Always. It never works for any. I've had like, we've worked with like corporations, like big names, whatever, not to say that like, oh, we work with big names, but I mean, like people who came in to consult like DuPont level companies. And they're like, well, I think we could do this on our own. I'm like, okay, because they have the money and they're used to being able to break into industries and stuff. But I'm like, there's something about screen printing that is not like other beasts that will get you. And it never seems to work for anybody.
They never want to do the nitty gritty. But the problem is what the best way I've heard described about screen printing is it's like, it's not about owning a business or being smart with whatever. It's being able to tolerate a stream of just shit things happening and being able to problem solve.
Yes.
Like that's all it is. It's problem solving. Like if you're good at problem solving things and you're okay with things like getting kicked in the nuts over and over all day long, then this is for you.
And I'm glad. And the way you said that was perfect, in my opinion. Like when people ask me, like I'll be, you know, I meet someone like, what do you do? I'm like, I play Tetris with t-shirts all day. Like it's just difficult problem solving one after another. And it's been 20 years. And like, I think that as screen printers, that we've been doing this so long that we think that maybe there's like some light at the end of the tunnel and there's this place you can get to where everything's smooth and there's no more rush orders. And like 4 years ago, I was like, that's never going to happen. I just gave up, and I've been better ever since then. Like giving up. When I was younger, I thought like, I think we'll get to this place. Yeah. I think we'll get to this place where bands will order their shirts 3 months in advance. And like, I had this like grass is greener. Like, I was like, that's never, ever going to happen. And once you kind of resign to it, that not only is that what this industry is, but this is why other people can't do it. This is why we get to exist.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know that my DIY ethic works in other industries. And I've been other places. I think that it works here because there's that spirit to it that's so difficult, that's understated, that you need to be like a little, I don't know, you need to want to do something really challenging.
You need to be a dirty dog, dude. It's the only way it works.
You need to be a dirty dog.
I don't mean to say the problem solving thing in a negative aspect, because I think that it's the challenge. It's like we get the dopamine from problem solving, and I mean, good or bad, whatever. Like, sometimes we want it to go smooth, but also like smooth is boring. Like,
it is.
Like even I've got it too, where it's like, okay, you go buy the best equipment, you have the best team, whatever. And then when things are just going smooth, that's usually when the biggest bad thing happens, is because everybody gets used to things going well, and then they overlook things, and then something gets fucked up, and then it's 10 times worse. But it's like,
we make the most mistakes here in our slow months.
Yeah,
that's what it is. I'm like, when the gears are churning, when we're busy, it's good. But then come February, everyone gets the power down a little bit. I'm like, now we have misprints all of a sudden. And like, I get it. I do understand it, but that's the way screen printing is. You got to lock into that high rhythm, that high BPM, and just stay there. It can be exhausting, but I don't know. It's an easy job to get burnt out from. And I do that in our hiring structure. I mean, I don't know if you want to go into that, but even though when we hire people, I'm like, hey, this place is not for everybody. And like, it's not going to change. So like, you know, I explain it to them and I say, I'll give you 1 week. I'll come back to you in a week. And then in a week, I'm like, I'll come back to you in a month. And I'm like, tell me if this is your environment, if this pace is like what you're into. Because we have a lot of people coming here, they're like, they went to school for like graphic design or something. Or they're like, oh, I like streetwear. And like, they kind of like the like sexy Instagram side of it. And I'm like, yo, it's not that. I'm like, that's a 110-degree dryer that you could stand behind all day for a little while to get started.
Do you like standing in 110 degrees and everything you bump has ink on it? This is the place for you.
And believe it or not, we're lucky to have a very good team of people, that a lot of people we've had for more than 10 years. So we're very lucky in that sense. But when we do bring in new hires, I'm like, that's something I learned over the years. It's like, I don't even trick people. I don't even try to be like, oh, it's cool. I'm like, this is pretty rough. I'm like, I hope this works with your rhythm. And that's actually worked really well. Some people just appreciate the honesty.
Yeah, I think that is definitely like the way to go. I mean, over the years, I've been guilty of like sugarcoating it and being like, "Oh, it's a fun place, and we have this." And you mention all the extras, where it's like, "Oh, we play basketball, and we have video games, and like we print shirts, and we listen to loud music, and it's fun, and whatever." And yeah, there is that aspect, but a lot of it too is like, oh, we actually have shit we have to do. And like, you can't be fucking around your phone all day. You can't be like, whatever. Like, we have things that need to get done. But the people that I've had here for forever understand that when it's like, it's time to work, it's time to work. And then when we have downtime to mess around, then let's do that. But it's always respectful too of like, oh, it's actually 1:00 now. It's time to get back to work. We got to go.
Yeah, I think we've hit a pretty good balance of that too.
Yeah. Well, let's go back to you coming back after school. So did you go to school for that didn't work out that made you go into the life of screen printing?
It didn't work out. I went to college for a now defunct major. I went to school for journalism, communications degree. And, the world, but this was like before Twitter, like this was before social media. So that platform was still a thing. And then when I came out of school in 2008, like the economy immediately crashed. They were like straight came out of college into a recession. And I was like, oh, I can't get a job doing journalism. I can't the local newspaper was laying people off actively, like right when I came out of college because of that. And I was like, well, I know how to screen print. and to being young still and very much like pursuing music. I was in a band. I was like releasing music. So I was like, whatever I do for work, I kind of want to be like secondary. Like that was my focus until I was like 29 years old. So even screen print, even though I was working full time, it was like, okay, I could do this and do that. And so when I came back, I was like, okay, I could screen print. I know how to do it. And I could still, and it's kind of in the same vein. Like I got to know music people and stuff through it. It wasn't like this separate, I didn't feel like I left and went into a different world if I was working like in a corporate office setting or whatever, construction. No, like I felt like that was.
I've always said that too, that like this whole world is I think that's why a lot of band people come into it, because merch was a big part of what we do. But I think the bigger allure is that the environment is very much the same. Like even with your employees, with your, who you bring in, but going to trade shows, like all this other stuff, it's very much like going to shows where it's like, oh, we all know each other. We're all doing stupid shit. We go to a trade show and we see equipment, we joke with each other, and then we leave and we go fuck around hard. Like that is very much the same as band world of like, oh, we're waiting to play. What can we do that's stupid and have fun with our friends and then go do that. So it's always been that world. It feels very similar.
Yeah, it's always been an extension of that, which is why I was like drawn to it. And even now, more than half of our employees are actively in bands and, touring. Like that's one thing we do accommodate here. We accommodate touring employees. And so we have a very alternative employee structure that we kind of had. Very flexible, but we kind of had to develop it in order to stay, I don't know if competitive is the right word, but in order to get people to stay motivated in this type of environment, because screen printing can be brutal, it could be rough, it could be monotonous, but if you really stay, if you're fair to people and you work with people's schedules, there's a lot of room for that. The industry does lend itself. It's not like this 9-to-5 office thing or like, we produce at these hours. You could kind of be like, some days we stay late, some days we do. There's all kinds of like little things you could do to accommodate people and let them. And that was big after COVID. I'm like, people need to be able to, suit their life. It can't just be like very rigid and structured. It wasn't working. So we experimented with all different types of alternative ways. Some I walked back, some we kept, but we still have a very, very unique employee structure.
Yeah. Well, we kind of talked about it too, about how, we started out printing a lot for bands and you guys are still printing for bands, but has it always been that structure? Like in the beginning,
no.
Was it mostly, what was it in the beginning?
No, we basically did contract printing for 6 to 8 years to really build the place. So we always did sales. We always did local businesses and we had a pretty good sales team, but it wasn't really until like like a little before COVID, but then really after that, we were able to transition and really build our internal sales team. We have a good sales manager here, and he came on in, I think, 2017. And by the time he like found his footing after COVID, we were really able to get our sales angles down. And we do work in the band market a lot. That's what we gear towards. But like everywhere, we work in every industry. Like not so much the sports world, because I'm sure you can't specialize in like everything. Like there's one you want to do more, and then like 2 or 3 others, and that's it. Because the customers are so diverse and their needs are so diverse that you can't really you can't cover the trends of every industry and survive. So you have to pick one and focus and stay in it. And 2 or 3, but you can't really. You have to specialize in something.
What kind of contract clients were you getting? Was it more just like, okay, this place needs a contract printer, let's work with them, or was it more for agencies, or was it other print shops?
It was a combination of everything. So we always worked at other print shops, and then we would work with say a national chain that does like uniforms or something for people. We were paired up with a local paper printer, and they had all these customers printing paper, and then the customers would say, hey, I need t-shirts too. They would come bring us the shirts, like just things like that for many years, just to
it's interesting. Yeah, it's interesting you say that like a lot of your direct stuff happened post-COVID, because we were always direct. We kind of did some, like a lot of shops where when it's slow or you need to fill the schedule, you're like, oh, I can do contract printing. But the problem is you're not really suited for contract printing. You're suited for printing random orders for customers. And then all of a sudden someone comes in and they're like, hey, do you want to print a job for a third of what you normally make? And you're like, fuck yeah, I guess. Like I need to fill the schedule and I need employees and I need to do it. But the problem with that model is you're not built for contract. You're not built for speed. You're not built for getting it out on time. A lot of times you're just doing the job for nothing because you're not suited to do it that fast.
And we came in from the reverse angle. So we were used to having to be efficient and quick, and then going into slowing down a little bit, getting like photo samples. Like at the time when we started working with customers, like our own customers, and be like, oh, the orange or whatever, I really want to change it. 151, like it's Pantone, like we want to change it a little bit, like working with photo samples. Like we were so high wired that like we had to adapt to like, and I'm not saying
6 hours for a customer to text you back.
We got a lot better at that, but like a good customer is paying a lot of money, so you kind of understand why they would want to like photo approve it or whatever. But that took us years to like really find the transition of that, like coming from the world of like contract and efficiency, and to go into like, all right, now we have to make products that like people that people want to come back for. This isn't just, we're not just doing 1,000 shirts for like a work trip to whatever, an amusement park. Like, because that's what we were doing. Where, the Pantones
are trying to build relationships at this point.
Yeah. It's a different thing.
Do that before.
No, not to, I mean, we were always working on it in the subtext, but I would say for the first 5 or 6 years, it was like 70-30. It was like contract was really what was,
that's wild.
Paying
but the reason why I say post-COVID is because I feel like, not to bitch and complain about this all the time, but it's like the world changed. Like everything changed. Like
it's understated. Everybody says that, like the world changed, but like it really is night and day still.
Right. But that's what I'm saying. It's like the first 15 years before COVID, it was like, oh, we print shirts. That's what we do. And then customers would come to us because they see what we do on Instagram or Facebook or whatever. And they're like, oh, we want our shirts to look like those. And then it was like, cool, we just constantly have more customers. Like word of mouth is the king of everything. And we just keep getting more customers. And then COVID happens and it's like, everyone's like, it literally shook everybody to be like, not even just the workplace where it was like, oh, I prefer to work from home, or I prefer to be flexible with my life, or I want to figure out my own situation. It was, oh, well, why do we order 5,000 shirts every year? Like, is this profitable? Does this work for us? Like, does this make any sense? And then they were like, oh, instead of 5,000, let's just order 500 and we'll see how it goes. And it's like every customer now is like weighing their options of like, well, should I be saving money this way? Do I need to even order apparel at all? Like, what do I need to do? And it's like everybody and their brother now who's a screen printer is like doubling down on like, well, I need to learn how to do outbound again because I can't just rely on word of mouth. I can't just rely on the customers I've always had. And you guys are like, hey, you know what would be a good idea is like, let's get really good at this and switch our entire model.
Because it was always the goal. Was like we built the shop and the infrastructure before we built our sales team, essentially, by like 5 years. Yeah. So, and then we built our sales team, and it's been great for a couple years now. We've been very good. So now we're more of our own work than we are contract, obviously.
Right.
But that was not an easy transition. And it was hard to develop a sales team that could feed at that time 4 or 5 presses that we were doing all this contract work with. It was like, how do you sell that much? So it was a long crossover, but we did eventually get there. Slowly but surely,
it's just a wild aspect. Like, I mean, it's awesome. I'm glad you guys are doing what you're doing. It's just,
thank you.
I don't know. It's hard. Like, and that's the truth of it too. Like, I don't remember.
I would never deny that there's luck.
Yeah, it's all. I feel like it's all opportunity, and I don't know what that saying is about luck, where it's like opportunity meets being prepared or whatever it is. But it's like, you guys kind of had that because you were prepared. Like you had the shop first. And a lot of people don't have that. They start with the sales first and then they're like, oh, cool. And that's what I did. Like everyone knows my story when I went and met with the New York Mets or whatever. Like I had a fucking 4-color manual in the garage. And it's like, I was not prepared for that by any means. But if I was you guys where like, I was like, okay, I'm going to start reaching out to clients now. Be like, oh yeah, we have all this automation. We have the employees. We have the presses. We're ready for your jobs. Let's go. Then it's a lot easier to make decisions on price. It's a lot easier to negotiate or figure things out because you literally have the factory ready to go.
Yeah. And to be fair, the factory end of it is the part I do. I can't take any credit for our sales department. I don't. Yeah. So like how they did that and what, I know that was many years. But it was cool to kind of do it in reverse. And that's not to say we weren't making sales in the beginning and working with our own customers, because we always served our local community. But to get outside of your regional area in an organic sales sense is very difficult to do. And it took a long time.
So how do you navigate that from like, how fast did it go from mom's garage to multiple locations and
I would say there was only 2. So we had... when we started when Dave opened the first brick and mortar location in 2009, it was in a retail storefront on the Route 11, the main road, over the river from us now. So this is our 3rd building, and it was a retail storefront. In the beginning, it kind of had like a, we sold like shirts, like American Apparel and stuff. But in the back, there was presses, and it was 1 manual. And then it was 2 manuals, and then we got like a really old auto, like 1991. That was our first auto. And it wasn't till I think 2011 or 12 that we got our first new M&R. So it was like 3 years of like a 6-color Sidewinder and then like a 1991 like M&R Sportsman or something. I forget which one it was, where it had like the old dial. It looked like a Casio watch. It was like the green digital screen. And there's probably 2 or 3 years before we actually got like an 8-color Sportsman. That would be 2011 or 12. And then we didn't get any more until we moved into a bigger facility in 2014. No, we had 2 autos. We did buy another small old used one in the back of that shop. So we had 2 autos, which took like 3 years to get to. We had 2 autos for about 2 years, and that was in 2014. And this is when I was in California. So we bought the 2nd building when I was gone, but then had bought another auto for that. And that shop had 3 at first. And then we went to a 4th one. And then like 3 years after that, like 2018, we bought a 12-color. So then we had 5. And then we didn't buy any until we moved to this new location we have now in March of 21. And then we bought
let's get 3 more.
we bought a 14-color and another 8-color auto. So now we have, was it 6 or 7? 6? 6. But one of the ones we have back there was the one we bought in 2011. So that's a testament to M&R. I mean, our floor manager, Mike, is good at repairing machines. It's good to have someone in house who can actually like work on the machines. It's been great for us, but he's able to keep them running. We've had that one for 15 years.
So what was your journey then? Was it printer to, or just shop hands to? I
started as screen printer and I printed manual. And I printed manual and I learned the auto a little bit, but then I learned the auto, but I was kind of doing everything. Cause at that time, like we were printers were making our own ink. We would reclaim our own screens. And there was a point in time when I would work at night. So I would come in and I would receive the packages, print them, rebox them and ship them and set them out for UPS the next morning. And that would have been pretty early on when we still had manuals. So I was doing like the whole part of the process myself. And then when I had moved to California to be in a band for 2 years, and when I came back in 2015, I said, Dave, I need a job. I have to come back. I know screen printing. And he said, and this is his intuition, by the way, he's like a genius in his own way. And he said to me, why don't you just manage the place? I'm like, I don't know how to manage anything. I was like, I don't know, like, what does that mean? But he knew my temperament, but also knew that like I knew everything. And by that time I came back, we had gone to like 8 employees at that time. So there was like a couple of newer people. It was like 4 or 5 when I left, and now it's like 8 or 9. So I came in, first thing I did was.
Well, we had this discussion a little while ago with Tej from Pine, where he was in a similar boat as you. Is like, I knew everything. Like he knew the shop. Mm-hmm. He was head printer. He had gone through all the motions. But then when he was offered like, hey, do you want to run the place? Basically like be production manager. He learned real fast that that wasn't what he wanted to do, or not that he didn't want to do it, is that he wasn't prepared for it, because it's a whole nother monster. It's not just like being on press and printing shirts. It's now you're managing people, you're dealing with like emails and computer and scheduling and like all this other stuff. And it's like, this isn't for me. This isn't what I want to do. I don't want to manage people. Was that you, or were you like jumped right in and you're like, I
jumped right into it. I was like, cause I always, even outside of screen printing, I've always been fascinated with like how the world works, how things work, and like structuring things. In every aspect of my life, I've always been interested in like hyper organization. So like it helped that I knew everything, and I wasn't a fantastic screen printer. I could still like print pretty good, but like I wasn't like temperamented for it, like specifically. So like the fact that I knew everything only helped the fact that I was like, okay, I know how to schedule, because it helped me understand how everything works conceptually and to work with people. Because if you come off the street with no print background into a print shop and try and tell screen printers what to do, we know how that goes, because it is so complicated. So it helped me grow the place from, at that time it was like 8 people, to our peak was almost 50. We've actually scaled back since then. So at about 2022, we were close to 50 people. And so that would have been 2015 to 2. So in 7 years, we had grown about 30 people. And through that whole step, it was aggressive. And you make a lot of mistakes without even knowing in that time. I was very conscious of that. And it's almost a separate part of the conversation. But as you're growing, I kind of got to the place where I'm like, you try things that like you fully commit to knowing that at least half of it's going to fail. And you keep some of it and then try again and keep going back and working into things. And there was a point where I thought we could structure the place a certain way, but it ended up just being too many employees. And like,
do you think that, and this is kind of a vulnerable question, but I've been there, is like, do you think that you get this mentality of like, oh, we're growing and it's never going to go bad, it's never going to go in a negative way? And you're like, well, you know what would be really helpful is like, oh, we get a busy order, we're busy for like 3 weeks or something, and you're like, oh, we need more bodies. Like, I could use another person mixing ink, or I could use another person carting stuff. And you're like, oh, let's hire. And then you get your first slow week and you're like, why the fuck did I just hire 4 people?
Yeah,
like
it's
hard for me to tell the people that I normally have, like, there's stuff to do. Now I have 5 or 6 or 30 more mouths to feed. And you're like, what did I do? Why did I need 2 people mixing ink? Why do I need 4 people reclaiming screens? Like,
yeah. And some days you do. Even still, there's days Like, and I tried to get us to this sweet spot where we have like 2 or 3 people in the whole, because I think we have like 33, 34 people in here right now, where there's like 2 or 3 people that are kind of comfortable with floating, and I kind of move them around in different places every day. And I'm okay with having 2 or 3 extra people if we need to.
Floaters are awesome. I think that's like one of the best things with this industry, because
yes.
We do have a backup on screens. We had 20 jobs in a row that were 14 color or something, and it's like we have way more screens that need clean than we normally do, or the opposite of like we need to burn a shitload of screens, or we need to, there's this one job has all custom mixes or something, and it's like, we need somebody for that. And it's like the floater's job is like, hey, we need you for this, we need you for this, whatever.
Yeah, and one of the big things to suit that was many people in here are cross-trained, and that's the benefit of having employees that have been around for so long, is that when we slow down in the winter, like people get to pick something that they're interested in to cross-train in. And I have a whole Excel sheet with every employee and what they're cross-trained in and everything. And even though I know it all, but I keep it really just in case, like, hey, we need 2 people in ink today. Because isn't that crazy how some days you can make no ink and some days you make 26 inks? Like the next day. I'm like, it's fucking, the way this industry works is like, if you're not willing to pivot that, like, and I don't even want to get onto too much of a tirade, but when people try to nail that down, like in other industries, when you really try to like quantify and really make sense of like, well, we shouldn't, like, you cannot get your fingers around what screen printing is, and you have to just roll with it and be ready for the unexpected all the time, because you are never going to make it like this linear thing that makes sense. Hey, we come in every day, we got 8 hours scheduled for every press. Like, I've been having that argument with our sales team, who I love, for 10 years. And I'm like, I do my best to make that happen. And we're pretty good about it, because it's hard to do sales projections and stuff. I understand their plight. I really do. But
it's difficult.
You never know how long a job's going to take to set up. You don't know anything.
There's so many people out there. And again, I know they're smart people and they're very like data driven and metrics and like all this stuff. And there's so much of it that is very, very helpful. And I want to learn more about. Before I saw you guys, I was hanging out with Ryan at Lancaster, and that was what he was doing there, is he was putting in all these, automations and metrics and all this stuff to where they can calculate all the timing that it takes to do things, and they can evaluate that and all this stuff. And what he's doing there is going to be amazing. Like, it's going to make things way, way better. But at a certain point too, there's other people that I've talked to where it's like, well, know this and create pods for every press where the people loading and unloading never move. And it's like someone else sets up, and then you can calculate the amount of time it's going to take to do this job perfectly. And, we bought this piece of equipment because it's going to shave seconds off of this. And I'm like, dude, the minutes and second shaving when it comes to buying a piece of equipment, to me sometimes is like, my argument is the first time that press operator has to take a shit or like make a phone call, like all of that goes out the window. Like, none of that matters. Or a screen pops, or they run out of ink for some reason, or, Susie gets a bloody nose, or whatever it is. It's like, there's things all day, every day that we constantly have to tweak or fix or anything like that. And I feel like those metrics are nice, but like some people get so hard into the weeds with it, where it's like,
they do.
You're never going to nail this. Like, you're never going to know exactly
it's
how
like
the day is going to go.
You're not going to find it. Like, you're never going to nail down screen printing. I think a lot of people like it for the challenge. And to go back to what you said about like getting really into the metrics, we do get pretty into our metrics here. And there's certain areas where I walked that back. I was like, we went too far. I was like, we just seem like psychos now. I'm like, at a certain point, like, okay, so say you have 5 printers, whatever, and you sit down at the end of the month with these metrics, like, now what do you do with them? That's the part that's like, what do you do with them? Are you giving raises based off of them? And then relative to what? Did they come in late? Like, what are you doing now with the metric? Are you making sales judgments with it? Like, you have to tailor the metrics that you're getting to what your goal is. And if you don't really do that, they don't mean anything. And I was measuring metrics for years that I'm like, I haven't done anything with these metrics. And it's a hard pill to swallow to yourself when you put so much time into finding an angle of, well, I want to know how many impressions we got out of this or what we're going to do. But then, like, even implementing what to do with those, like, are you going to punish people because they didn't print enough? Like,
Yeah.
is your HR doing that? Or are you looking someone in the eye and doing that? Like, it gets complicated. I think a lot of people just have fun trying to come up with metrics because it's like, I don't want to say it's the illusion of progress, but it kind of is. I really feel that way in a lot of ways. Like I could go today, I could be like, hey, we printed 37,000. We didn't. We printed 37,000 shirts today. Or I could say, we printed about 35,000 today. And it's like the same thing. I swear, at the end of the day, it's like the same thing that like.
I think to a degree, the thing that I get out of it the most is it sets expectation. Because like we were talking about before, important. Like in the summer you can be busy and everybody's on point and they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. And it's like, okay, cool. Well, on this press, I know it's doable if it's a 6 color with the data over a year or 6 months or whatever. You know, this job should roughly take this. This is what it is. Okay, that's that press operator and that unloader. That's what they can do. And then you get somebody else who comes in and is like, oh, I'm going to set the dwell at 9 seconds. I'm going to take a break every 5 seconds, get a drink. Every time I have to get a fresh cart, I go up to the office, I get a drink, I like whatever. And it's like, okay, well, why did this job take you like 4 hours longer than it took the other guy? And then it's like, well, what do you mean? I was running, I was doing. But it's like, if you don't have the data to show like hard data that this is doable and this was done, then it's a he said, she said opinion situation where it's like, well, I believe you should be able to do this in 3 hours. And then they're like, that's cool. You can believe all you want, but that's not the reality. That's not what can happen. And it's like it's like that meme on Instagram now where it's like the owner thinks this job, we should be able to make 900 cheeseburgers today. And then it's like the salesperson thinks we should make 3,000 cheeseburgers today. And it's like the line cook's like, you guys can go fuck yourselves because I can only do 300 cheeseburgers today. Like, so that's the reality. That's where the metrics come in, is because the line cook knows the data of like, this is what's doable.
Yes. And to go back, so I took a year, it was actually 9 months of metrics before I came up with our projections, our tentative metrics. So it was all 6 printers for a year. And I took like the average of how long it took across everyone in our shop. And I was like, because people do work at different paces and different outputs, and it's like an orchestra. Some people like will be slower, but they're more consistent and their quality is good all the time. And then some people are faster, and then you have some people who are just good at both. So it's like you have this uneven discrepancy because screen printing.
Well, people are different.
Yeah, because and since we're making art, we're not making like cabinets. We're making art that's subjective and how fast someone could do it or whatever. So I took the metrics over 9 months and then made that our average of when our projections come through. Hey, this job should take 3 hours and 40 minutes. And that's according to an entire year of everyone in here. So it makes sense. But so let's say you get your metrics. The job should take 3.5 hours. It takes someone 5. That's kind of a problem. That's a little bit of a problem. So now you're in this whole other area that can't be solved with metrics. What do you do now? How do you approach that person? Are you like, hey, we're going to fire you? And do you have a line of people at your door ready to screen print? What's your labor market like? Like what is it? What do all those metrics in your goal pertain to outside? Because like someone's like, hey, it took me 5 hours to print this job and it should have took 3. Like I have to consider that into so many factors. If it's just that day, whatever. And I know you know all this, but I'm like, could I even fire them and just get someone else in here who will do it in 3? Or do I have to build that? Do I have to work? That's the reality as
an owner or manager, and the answer is no. Like they're not just, it's not just a random job, like a mindless job where you can get somebody off the street. It's like this trains. Like this is, I've always said that like, I feel like a printer or someone on press, it takes them about 1.5 years before they're like, oh, I don't have to think about that person doing that job. Like at least they know how to load shirts. They know how to, set angles and pressures and all this other stuff. Like they can do it. And it's like, cool. Do I want to fire somebody over it taking them an extra hour to do the job when I can rely on that person? It's always a catch-22 situation where you're going to pay for it one way or another.
Yeah. And I'm not saying like I have any answers to that. What I am saying is I've been doing this for 16 years, and metrics or no metrics, it was hard both ways, both times. Even if the conversation is arbitrary, like, hey, it seems like this took you a while, and I think you went to the bathroom twice. Or if it's like, I could see you went to the bathroom twice, like whatever it is, I'm like, it doesn't, really solve the problem of like people. It doesn't really.
No, but
it
I think
helps.
it's the same.
It
I think
helps.
it's the same thing with having the data to, how do I say this without sounding slimy? But it's like,
Just go for it.
if I have an employee, so say I'm going to make up a fake employee. Say I have an employee who does a bunch of stuff, like they wear sweatpants to work every day. They look like a schlep, they whatever. I didn't have that in my handbook that they couldn't wear plaid pajama pants to fucking work every day. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then eventually that person leaves or fires or quits or whatever it is. First thing I do that day is I rewrite the fucking handbook. Like, can't wear pajama pants to work every day, like whatever. And then it's like, okay, well, the next person who comes in, like that stipulation is in there to be like, hey, you can't do this. And if they do start doing that, then I have written documentation that says you can't do this. And then it keeps them accountable, because it's like, okay, well, I signed this when I was hired knowing full well I can't wear pajama pants all day. That's where, to me, it's like the written stuff and the data helps, because it's like, if I show you like, hey, you come to my office and I have a board of like, this is what was capable today. These are the metrics. These are the numbers. Like, I'm not being a dick to you. Like, I'm not coming to you as just an asshole boss that's like, you're fucking slacking off and you're not doing your thing. Like, I'm your friend. I want you to succeed. What can I do to help you get to 3 hours on this job instead of 5 hours? Like, was it because it was 120 degrees out today? Then cool. Like, I accept it. I understand. Like, it is what it is. But if it's a normal day, all the conditions are like normal. Was it because you were looking at your phone too much? Was it because, you physically have to take 2 extra steps than the person that I got these metrics from? Like, were the carts not situated correctly? That to me is where it's like, okay, cool. Like, let's find ways to help you, not necessarily like punish you. It's like, okay, well, carts weren't staged, or inks weren't pre-mixed, or screens weren't taped or something. It's like, okay, let's come together as a collective. And now we know moving forward, to get these jobs done correctly, screens need to be taped, inks need to be mixed, everything needs to be prepped. And also maybe stay the fuck off your phone a little bit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's where you throw in a bunch of like compliments. And then it's like that one thing they were doing that probably got them the extra 2 hours was you had your dwell at 11 seconds. Or you were on your phone every 5 seconds, or whatever.
And I agree with everything you said. And it sounds like I'm making the argument against metrics, which I'm not, because all I've been doing for years. No, I'm just saying that, like, how do they work? So it sounds like I'm making the argument against them, but I want to go back to your example of what you said about the plaid pants. Okay, so now it's written that you cannot wear plaid sweatpants to work after that person left. Now it's written. So to me, it's like, and again, I agree with doing this. I do this all the time. But every time you add something, every time you add a metric, every time you add a rule, you add, now everything else can be relative to the. So if you tell someone they can't wear plaid pants, and someone comes in and they're like, well, is there a rule against wearing yellow skirts or not? Like, now we make rules. Now we make formal rules, and then eventually, and I think you see this problem in all aspects of society. Now, when you start to make formal rules, you never can stop. And I'm not saying that we shouldn't do metrics, because I do metrics. But what I'm saying is you, like, metrics cut both ways. For example, we've been talking about metrics for 10 minutes now, and both of us really only used it within the context of someone wasn't printing fast enough. I have printers here who exceed their metrics, and for that, they are rewarded. But at the same time, it's like metrics cut in both directions. Like, you could use them in your favor, and you have to be honest when they're against you. You have to be honest with the people who deserve. And now you have to come up with a raise structure and a bonus structure for people who can go above and beyond the metrics, when you only really made them for the one guy who's not printing fast enough. And now you created this like standard, this like, it's almost like having like an Apple Watch. Like, now people have a game, something to go off of. So you just opened a whole different can of worms. That's what I've learned over the years. And again, I'm not saying don't do metrics. It's all I do. What I'm saying is the way you use them, and people never talk about. They just talk about getting them, and not about how practical or pragmatic you can be with them. in relative to everything else. But you're right.
But I think
in the grand sense,
I don't want to
help.
claim in any way that I'm like an expert on this, because I'm not. I'm the guy who uses Post-it notes most of the time, or just like common sense or whatever. But that's a whole other conversation about how common sense is. My common sense is not the same as anybody else's.
Subjective concept, yes.
But in general, I think that what it boils down to, and the reason why I say like the plaid sweatpants thing coming to work, is it's like, to me, that's a common sense situation of like, I need to add this because I thought it was common sense that you shouldn't wear pajamas to work. And then you start getting employees who wear pajamas to work, and you're like, I need to write in here, like, you need to be presentable. Like, I'm pretty sure what it actually says in the handbook that our handbook is like super, just like, I wrote it. It's not like I downloaded something or used ChatGPT to make this whole huge thing. It's like 6 pages of just shit that basically has gone wrong over the years that we're like, oh, we need to add this in. But it's just kind of like, pretend that one of our best clients is going to walk through the door today. What would you want to be wearing when they walked in? That's like the common sense that I have of like, okay, cool. Your job is front desk. Maybe you should look presentable to $1 million customer that walks through the door. Like, that is basically what's written in there. And it's kind of like, okay, well, now I know that's how I should present myself. But again, like, with all the metrics in the shop and everything, I think it's just to keep everybody on the same page and keep people accountable, whether you want to enforce those or not. It's nice to know those numbers. It's nice to know
absolutely
all of those things. And I know it's not your world, the sales side of it, but that's something I personally have learned after all these years. And I just started doing my numbers like, I don't know, 3 years ago, when it comes to like all my expenses and all of my everything, and knowing exactly like how much I should be making every day. Like, that's stuff that I'm newish to, but like, I've learned, why the fuck didn't I do this from day one? Like, this would have made life so much easier.
That's mainly what I do it for. Cause like, even the examples we were just talking about was kind of like HR oriented, but metrics in terms of sales, in terms of your expenses, it's, you can't. So we do like on-press logging and everything. So like, people's labor and the overhead goes right into the cost of the specific job they're working on and everything. So from a sales perspective, it's a no-brainer. Right. It's like, absolutely, if you could get it down that good, it's used as a tool there for sure. And that's the main reason that I do it for sure.
But also too, that plays into it's a lot stronger of a thing that you need if you're doing contract work too, because if you are making less per garment, you need to know, okay, well, this is going to take 4.5 hours, and labor cost on press is going to be this, and to fold and bag, and, stupid stuff too, of like, do these garments come in pre-bagged individually? Like, it's going to take us 2 hours to unbag everything, cart everything. Like, are those numbers figured in to where we are still profitable on this job? So, hey guys, I hope you're enjoying the episode so far. If you can take 2 seconds for me, you're already watching it, just hit like, hit subscribe. Let me know in the comments what you think of the episode so far. We'd love to hear from you. And if you put print at the end of your comment, I will send a lucky person in the comments a gift bag from Church Show. So thanks, guys. I appreciate you. Enjoy the rest of the episode. See ya. Anyway, we went hard in the weeds on metrics, but again, like, that stuff's important.
My shop is very open on debating metrics. There's a lot, so they're going to watch this and be like, Dennis, what the fuck? But it's I don't know.
But it's the same thing.
I'm still a DIY punk where we started this. I'm like, I'm doing metrics, but like, I'm taking it right to the line of it being like this nerdy thing, and like, just, I don't know. I use it for what I think we need it for, and I try and keep it at that line and not go too far into the weeds with that stuff, because I think at the end of the day, people just...
It's hard.
It is. It's very hard to find that balance, and I'm still working on it this many years in.
Right. And again, like, I don't want to claim to know exactly what I'm talking about with all this stuff. I would love for people to chime in comments or in something and be like, hey, idiot,
me too.
This isn't what you need to do. But again, it's me learning and me being in the middle of it, of what I see makes sense and what doesn't make sense, and whatever. So anyway, back to your story. You're on press, you're coming back from California, you decide to be, production manager, I'm guessing was your title at that
Dave kind of said that's all he had available. And at that time, there wasn't a production manager. So what I had to do was kind of like it was just, eight or nine dudes on presses at that time, like making their own ink. Everything was kind of independent. I remember the first thing I did was I went over, and we had two buildings at that time. It was one building, but two different production floors. Like one was outside, one was in the other. And I was like, okay, they had a bunch of inks outside and a bunch of inks inside. And I was like, does anyone know what inks you have? Or like, did you have an inventory out here and it's inventoried in there? Or do you guys just kind of walk back and forth? And no one really knew. So I was like, I'm starting with inventorying inks and coming up with house colors and standardizing this. I was like, that's the first thing I did. I was like, we cannot just be like grabbing orange. Like it needs to be what it is. I made an ink shelf and I got rid of the 2 ink areas and I made sure someone was bringing them inks. That was the first thing I did. Then I went into receiving and I was like, we need to organize when jobs are coming in, the packages, the way they work. And, so I started in there and I just kind of started doing procedural things for years. And at that time too, I'd be on and off the press. So I'd be like, some days I would just be printing because that's what we needed. But it was just different little things of like the very early phases of a business running cohesively. I started doing all that stuff. And I started with the ink department because to me, it's still the hard spot for many people and us included. But at that time, I was like, I'm going to start there. And I had done that and that slowly, honestly, and I really started that in 2016. So early 16, like right when I turned 30, I remember being like, I'm 30. I was like, I got to like start doing stuff. So I started working full-time.
Responsible.
I might as well be responsible and really put like all myself into that. I took over doing the payroll. So doing people's hours, like we didn't even have an employee handbook. We didn't even have no one even really knew when they came in. Some people came in at 7, some came in at 9, like just structuring that, all of those little things to really turn it from the beginning into something that you can begin to mold into a business and grow from there. And I say it like
Isn't
so
that
quickly,
gnarly,
but it was
though?
years.
Yeah, like you and the owner and all this other stuff it's like, I think that's one of the hardest lessons I've learned. And I don't know, I think it could be one of those things too, where it's like father telling a son, like, hey, I was you, I've been through this. And then the son just like, yeah, right, dad, like whatever you say. And then they don't do what you said when you know full well, like this will change your life if you do what I'm asking you to do. Like going from being like punk kid to having a business and coming this far. I think if in the beginning I, took a time machine and went back and said, hey, Dylan, like your life's going to be totally different if you like do metrics or keep an eye on your numbers and like this. And I would have been like, that's more work. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like we're eating pizza and like printing shirts and like going to a show tonight. Like I'm not going to do half of that stuff, or I'll get to it later. And then you get to a point where you have to grow up because it's either do or die, or you paint yourself into a corner. Right.
That's what it is. Once you start to make it work and then you're like, oh, I need another person, like whatever, you do paint yourself into a corner of like, eventually you have to begin, you either give it up and stop doing it, or you do eventually cross into, more
business
normal
person
type of, and we've walked that line the whole time, and we still do. We still like, that's the first thing I think about every day is I'm like, how do we like advance as a business with ever-changing society, ever-changing economic structures, everything around us, but maintain that core like ethic and idea from the beginning. It's very difficult to do. And I honestly think we've done it and we continue to do it. But it's extremely difficult. And we did it by adopting in certain areas, like corporate, like standard corporate kind of like ideals in very select areas, and very conscious of where we did that. And I was very conscious of that, and I still am every day. But back in that beginning, when I took over as manager, Dave was kind of doing that at that time, but he's very business minded. Like it wasn't what he's really good at. Like he does understand people and labor and all that stuff, but we can't do it all. So he kept progressing the business, investing in machinery. And to his credit, he has always done flawlessly. He's never made a like a bad decision to buy a machine or something. It always worked
You
out.
better
There's
fucking
always
knock on wood right now.
Well, so far we've been
He's
good. But
never made a mistake. You need
no. He has, but not when we didn't work out, or it was a vision I didn't see in the beginning. And over the years, I'm like, fuck, he was right. You know what I mean? It wasn't, and even if I had contention in the beginning, but really I guess what I'm saying is not machines specifically, but in terms of broad business decisions, never really like any stupid ones where you're like, that
super
was
catastrophic or something.
Yes, that could have so easily tanked us or whatever. It was always very calculated. And I'm not a business owner. I'm just not. I'm not minded I have no interest in owning a business. I think the way my brain works, I would talk myself out of it. I was like, who in their right mind would ever do that? So it's good that he is. I believe that he is what a business owner should be. And I'm like, well, that's not me. So I could run the day to day, the month to month.
But it's nice that you acknowledge that and he acknowledges that. And it's funny, this is all recent stuff too, but like visiting Ryan the other day was it's something that's been stirring in my head a little bit, and I kind of want to talk to him more about it. But it's like he was saying something, because me and Josh were talking about how we run our businesses, how like I don't necessarily have to be here, like the shop can run itself, but like I am still involved with a bunch of things as far as like, you know, running the business or paying certain bills or there's a million different aspects, whatever. Well, we were talking about how he's like, you guys are crazy for not like working on this to the point where like you have where you're coming up with systems and processes, or maybe there's a sales manager who handles keeping things in order in the office and like all this other stuff, rather than being like the overlord who has to have a finger in every department. And I'm not saying I do, but like the way that Ryan's discussed with me and of just being like, I can't believe you're still doing that or whatever. And it's like, fuck, yeah, maybe he's right. Like there's certain, and I feel confident in like how things run and how things go, but there's always that like internal, are you doing enough thing as an owner where you're like, I do need to step out of this or step more into this. And it's always this like weekly battle for me of, do I do more? Should I lean more into sales, especially with the way the world is now? Like, do I create new promo boxes? Do I reach out to X bigger customers? Do I double down on production and maybe come up with something new that like sets us apart? Do I do more social media because that's how we grew really big in the beginning? Like there's all these avenues that I'm constantly being like, I need to. Whereas maybe what I need to do is I need to find somebody who can handle that and handle that well. So my question to you is like, was that his thought process with you over all these years? Is like, I'm going to let you do your thing and I'm going to trust that you can do that.
Yes. Yes. But to answer it even more broadly, I would hate to give the impression that it was just him and me, because there's like 5 people here that could seriously run a shop by themselves. Then we're so lucky. We've been so blessed to have like people like our art director, like he could print, he could do the whole thing himself. He could ship, he could do whatever. So we kind of have like 5 core people who are, like specialize in their own certain things. And then we kind of just stay out of each other's hair and come back. And I'm sure this is true of every shop. But what I'm saying is it's like, I would hate to give the impression that it was just me, because I did begin the idea of management and stuff, but there's been so many people that made this place what it is since then. But I would say to his credit, to Dave's credit, is what I'm saying, is that he was just like, I trust you. Let's see what happens.
Right.
And I think that is I could never do that. That's why I respect him for it, and any owner that does. But yeah, that's a gamble for sure. Like if you're not going to, and I've seen, it really is. It really is.
Yeah.
And I know you've been to tons of shops, and so have I, and I've talked to plenty of people, and I've been to large shops where the owner is like still micromanaging and like still that's what they want to do. They want to come up with the best way to mix ink, like whatever it is. And to me, that's insane, but they run successful businesses. And then I've seen shops in this industry that are successful where the owner is like not even there. So it's like,
he's like on a boat all day, and it's like, what?
Yeah. There's so many ways to do it, but I don't know. It's like if you, and those people, I would say that their skill is finding the right people and paying them well enough to continue to do it. Because that's not as easy as it sounds. Like I'm not an owner, but identifying talent that you trust, like I don't think that would be easy. I don't think it would be easy to grow. He spent years, the first decade growing this business, and then to kind of give it away to people is like, hey, I trust you. Like to me, I could never do that.
To say like with my personal stuff, like I'll throw myself under the bus where it's like now at the age that I am and the length that I've been doing all of this, I don't feel guilty necessarily being like, oh, next week I'm going to Utah to hang out with friends, but also visit shops and like do some other stuff because I'm like, I've been fucking doing this 20 years. Like I built this place. Like, yeah, there's other people involved, but like, I've been doing it this long. I feel like I've done my part. I'm going to handle what needs to be handled, but I'm still going to take this trip. Like I'm still going to do this thing that I want to do because I've been doing this for so long. So sometimes you might hire somebody that's only been here like 2 years and they're like, oh, he's never.
I was going to say that.
Like, yeah, he's been here for fucking 20 years. Like,
and it's hard.
This doesn't shut off for me either. Like it's like I think about this place until my eyes close. Like, and I go to sleep. And then when I wake up, I wake up in a sweat because I'm stressing about something at work. Like, that's how I feel like I have the ability to leave once in a while.
Yeah. And I was going to bring that up, what you said about like now you've been doing this 20 years, you're at this level. But if you have someone who you hired 2-3 years ago, they don't, and I don't even blame them for being like, oh, he's never here or whatever. Like, it's hard for them to understand. Like even for me, for example, I'm not the owner. And I'm here every day, but we have people here who've never seen me mix an ink. They don't know that, like, and that's okay with me. Like they would be like, does he even know how to do that? Like they might not know. I'll do it from time to time. But what I'm saying is it's like, I was the first person 15 years ago who decided we needed a system and inks. And now I have 10 people in the room who weren't there or don't remember. And that's okay. It's not a problem, but like there's a respect level. It's like a different thing now of like you're still, they're like, he might not know my struggle. Like they don't remember that I did run a press for, like I literally printed in the heat. Like I remember it was like, because you're not doing it now and they haven't done it with you or empathized with you, that I find that to be one of the struggling things as well, especially as a business grows.
Yeah. That's something that a lot of us just have to swallow though too, because I get that all the time because I do a fucking print podcast. I have this shop. I do all this industry stuff, and 95% of my job is sitting at my desk in my office, like doing whatever shit. And then I go out in the shop or something and it's like, oh, he doesn't know how to do that. He doesn't know how to run the press. He doesn't know how to do this. And it's like, I know how all of this stuff works. I've done it. I just don't do it all day, every day. Like if I hopped on press right now, it's not like I'm going to run around and like flick all these switches and do all this stuff perfectly and the job's going to be flawless. That's not how it's going to happen. It's like, it's like driving a car that you haven't driven in forever. It's like, oh, this is a stick shift. I haven't driven stick shift in 15 years. It's like the first drive's probably going to be a bit clunky. Like I haven't done it in forever, but it's not that I don't know how to do it. And I don't know. And it's just hopping back in.
Yeah, I mean, and I agree with you. You're right about that. It's something you just need to swallow. But like, say, 15 years ago, when you were on the floor and the people who did work with you, that's a different business when you're working with the owner than it is for someone now who's not working with the owner. So and not to, like, I agree with you. It's okay, but it's a different thing for them. So it's like, it is a different business in a way when you're working with an owner and when you're not. Yeah. Like, for example, today we had our yearly health insurance open enrollment. I spent 2 hours doing that today. Health insurance. That's not screen printing. That's not anything. That's just, I'm adding to the
shit you don't want to be doing.
Payroll. Yeah, which I actually kind of do like it, which is good. But like, I'm like, that's not. And then, so I'm up here in the front building for 2 hours and I'm not in the back. And people, like, I don't know where I am. And it's okay. But like that's essential to this business. Like it has to happen. Someone has to do it. And I'm like, would I rather be I would actually rather be printing than doing that. But like when I go back, what we talked about earlier about painting yourself in a corner, I printed for so many years, and then I'm like, all right, now I'm going to get the ink system good. And I'm like, and then we're going to get someone to do that. And then 15 years down the road, you're dealing with like health insurance premiums for everybody. And you're not necessarily making ink it's just the natural progression of it. If you wind up in this place and you're like, what, how did we get here? But you have to do it. It has to be done. And I would have never, to your point earlier, when we started this, I would have never thought that like that's what I'm going to be doing.
Half of your day today would have been health insurance and whatever else. So what does your normal day to day now look like? Like what is
my day to day? So we do a 4-10 schedule for most of our printers, but the place runs on several different shifts. So we're really open from 6 a.m. till 6 p.m. every day. We have production every day in different departments and staggering. I come in at 7:20 on a good day. I come in at 7 and I work till 5:30. The first thing I do is I review the scheduling. So I set the schedule every day at 3:30 for the next day, but I do a lot of the day-to-day scheduling and I comb through every single job and I manage all of our departments. So we have the embroidery department, a digital department, our screen print department, which we have a sub-manager for, Dante. He's very good, but because screen print has the most moving parts, so you need another person for it. And then our digital department, so our vinyl and stuff. And I will work out any of the kinks between the leads in those departments and our sales team. So for example, we have a rush coming through, and this happens to us every day. 60 pieces, 5/1. They want a DTF flag on the sleeve. Blanks are coming Wednesday. They're picking it up Friday. I'll work with those departments. I'll say, hey, we're going to DTF it first. It's going to be with you after UPS shows up on Wednesday. Then it's going to the screen print for Thursday. And then it's, I'll talk to the boxing receiving team. They're picking it up 1 p.m. on Friday, make sure it's done. And I know that sounds redundant, but to go through that and doing 100 orders a day, to go through that and be that specific with everything. So everything goes very smoothly. I'm basically preemptively solving problems the whole time. Right. And I'll put things in a pipeline schedule if it's not ready to be produced. So everyone who's working is working effectively and lean and not really running into like, well, where's this and where's that? Because I found that that's where you lose so much time, so much effort.
You're managing the logistics before it gets to those people, before they have to even ask that question.
Yes. So for the entire shop. So, and then I also do the HR side of things. I do the payroll, all of that stuff. I deal with, someone calls off or whatever, all of the employee aspects of things I do. But really it's just in my background of understanding like screen print and how long things take or don't take and what press it's going to and why it's going there. And okay, we're going to run the fronts on that one, but the backs on this one simultaneously because the customer's coming for us, all those little things to make things flow quicker and effectively and keep the stress level down for all 30 people that are in here. Because I found over the years, I'm like, that's the part that'll break your shop is people turning to look for a tool and it's not there. And I'm like, I have to cut that out the best I can. So it's really intricate the way we run the system. I would consider myself kind of like an air traffic controller, but that's a live job all day, essentially. And it works really well. It's how we do a lot of rush jobs. As you know, we work with a lot of bands. And as we've talked about previous, that's just rush jobs. That's all it is. You have to be so on point with your logistics and knowing when things are landing and when they're shipping. So it's a lot of work on that end specifically. But yeah, so really like I've become more of a scheduling production manager, always trying to find the most effective and efficient ways to do everything. And the only aspect of decoration that like I'm not that interested in, surprisingly, is embroidery. And our embroidery department knows this. I work with them, but I'm like, I go in there and I just hear the machine. I'm like, I don't know. I'm like,
you're like, cool, you guys are doing what you're supposed to be doing.
I'm like, I don't love embroidery. I don't know. Yeah. I never liked it personally as a decoration method. So I manage the embroidery department. I mean, we have our leads. We're very good. But that's one area I've been trying to get better at. But everything else fascinates me. But I won't lie. Embroidery, I don't know. It just...
on that topic, and we can cut this out if you don't want to specifically say or whatever, but like one thing that we kind of talked about was like the Billy String stuff. And with Billy, one thing I respect from him as an artist and what he's doing is it's kind of like he's an amazing musician in general, but I'm saying like the merch game, I've only seen it recently where they're really paying a lot of attention to, it's important of us to have a premium blank or have a premium print type, or to, every show gets a screen printed poster that are numbered, and, it's a quality thing first, and then we'll figure out the rest later. Not like, oh, I'm just going to get a bunch of cheap G5000s and we're going to print whatever on it and it's going to sell, and who gives a shit? Let's just get more. Let's just keep feeding this beast. It seems like he's like, no, I want to do like, a 10 color front, 4 color back on comfort colors. And I want it to have these extras. And again, like the poster thing seems like a whole nother ball game as far as keeping all that. That's
not my game. That's our owner, Matt. That's his thing. Yeah. I don't know.
But more like, how do you manage that with things being so much on a higher scale, because quality is important and it is a different type of garment. I don't know. It seems like a lot of stuff has to go quickly and it needs to get to where it's got to go. And it's not just shirts, it's shirts and posters and whatever else he's trying to order.
Yeah.
How do you manage that? Because it's frequently.
It's frequent and it's very challenging. And I will say that with the utmost respect to them, is they are so quality centric that we don't have any other customers quite at their level of like, and it made us so much better. Like to do it quickly, to be able to produce that fast for like a reorders or for a show at the quality that they want. That took us quite a while to get really good at. And we were always able to do it, but it was kind of at our expense. So we were taking a long time with the sampling, with the figuring out Pantones, and like, we'll be changing stuff on press, but we got really good at it over the years. And I don't know if I have a singular answer for you, because we could get into specifics in any way that you want, but there's certainly like, I respect that he, as an artist, he has the leverage to, because we work with tons of bands and a lot of them don't really have like we'll do a tour for him and there'll be like 32 designs that they're selling at the merch for one tour. And we work with a lot of people contractually, they can only have 6. So they're pretty limited and they're not really picky about the blank. Like that's the one thing I noticed with bands is there's extreme variance of what part matters most to them. Is it pricing?
Right. That's what I was trying to say. Yeah.
Is it quality? And for them, to their respect and testament, it's so artistic and quality centric. So our art department has a blast. I mean, it's challenging. It's very challenging, but if you look at their designs that they produce so many, and they're always high color count, and they're always really intricate, and like at the same time, like, oh my God, we have to produce 32,000 of these shirts in a couple of weeks. I was like, but this is why we got into this. And we have to remember that. I'm like, this is why I want to be doing this, to like do this 10 color job. And you never get things like this under like the circumstances that you like fantasized about, like, oh, that we'd have it, 2 months in advance and we could get coffee out and, really work on this 10. I'm like, no, it's due like in 2 days or whatever it is. And I'm like, we got good at being like, it made our internal Pantone check system like phenomenal, like flawless. Like we had to build new checkpoints just so we can move things through in our communication.
Because you were
very
too
quickly.
Scared to fuck up an order for that.
Yeah, we're not fucking them up. No.
Yeah.
No. Too out of the question. Like out of the question, like of it not looking fantastic. So and we've grown with him over the years. We've been printing for him since I think 2015. So like we were able to kind of move with it. It didn't drop on us as like, oh, here's this 40 design from a new artist or whatever. Like it came on kind of slow and we got good with it over the years and have a good relationship. But I would say when we do a lot of bands, but he is exceptional in every single way. So like when you get to do like literally a tour, we'll have like 8 or 9, like 8 to 10 color count, like designs. Like it'll be like a poster. We also do the poster on the shirt. Right. And I'm like, this is crazy. Like this is like a lot of people don't even get the opportunity to do this. And then and I mean, as artists, don't even get the opportunity to make that much diverse merch and have a fan base that appreciates it. So it really comes down to their fans being so concerned. There was a shirt we did for him where we printed on the inside the artist's name who designed it. It was one of the tours, and it was like the limited run, and it was like dated. It had everything in it. And then we did another one where I put discharge in a spray can, and we sprayed all the shirts like individually to make it look like a tie-dye, just so it was unique, and then printed over that. And it was like, and just the sampling process of that, it wasn't easy. Like
you're
we
like,
had to get the right.
I'll take 30,000 of those, and you're like,
yeah, and then
I
shouldn't
have hand done all of those.
No, I loved it. I did love it. I did them personally. I was like, I did the sample, and it took a while to get the sample right because like to their testament, like they want what they want. And I'm like, I don't even get that frustrated because it's so, I'm like, I respect it. I actually admire it to the point that I'm like, I made like this big cart so I could hand spray the shirts before we printed them and run them through the dryer, and had to do both sides. And I'm like, just standing there spraying them. And I'm like, under most circumstances, I would hate that I was doing this, but I'm like so happy that we actually get to do this like at a high level for people who appreciate it. I'm like, I think this is the whole reason I got here. So it also too, I'm like, everyone here loves doing it. Everyone here loves doing it.
I think that's why I had the discussion with you that I was envious that you guys were doing that, because I've tried to work with him over the years and I didn't understand that it was you guys doing it. And then when you told me that you've worked with them for forever, I was like, all right, well, that makes sense. And like, you've earned it and that's yours or whatever. But like, the reason why I originally was trying to go after him is exactly what you're saying, is like, that is the kind of business I want. I want somebody who cares about the quality, cares about like, oh, I want to do fun stuff. Like, oh, I'm really into aliens. I'm going to make a fucking alien shirt and it's going to have all this stuff and it's going to be cool. And yeah, this one's limited edition, whatever. Like, what I don't want is the turn and burn bullshit all the time. Like, I like the challenge of it. I like, everyone here likes when they're like, oh, they're super excited of how the print came out. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, that's when I see the everyone's eyes light up here of like, I'm excited I get to print that shirt tomorrow, not like, oh, I have to print that shirt tomorrow. Yeah.
Like, and it's something, and like I said, people here love printing Billy strings for the sense, and all the bands that we do, it's the same, but it's like you love doing it because you know that like that someone's going to love this shirt. Like you do like a corporate shirt, whatever, you do a shirt for like kids field day, like someone might not ever even wear that shirt, but you know,
they don't
someone's going to
love the shirt. They just know that they have to wear a purple shirt so that they don't get lost in the group.
Yes. Yeah. And so you're like, you're printing those and you're like, okay, this is money. This is all the things, but you're like, no one really cares about this shirt. But when you work with bands, like it is an interesting feeling where you're like, someone cares about this shirt. And that's really cool. Cause then like even the morale of the shop and the printers feel that they know that they're contributing to something that matters to someone somewhere beyond just making shirts today. And that is the best part of it for sure. That's the best part, in my opinion, of printing with bands, is that where their shirts go, that like, it's likely it could become someone's favorite concert t-shirt, and you had some part in making that. And that is special. I think so.
And even with band shirts too, I've done it where I don't know why, but I had the foresight to, a lot of the shirts that I loved in high school, I kept. And like, I vacuum sealed them in like a larger bag. Like I basically folded a ton of them and vacuum sealed them in like a blanket thing. And I had them in the closet for forever. And my daughter just turned like 14. My son doesn't really give a shit. He like doesn't even listen to music. It's really weird. Like, he's a fucking robot. Yeah. But like, my daughter's super into it. And like a year ago, I was like, hey, I've got this like giant thing of like t-shirts I wore in high school of all these bands. I like, might be hardcore bands. It might be a Cure shirt or a Thursday hoodie that I wore the zipper off of, basically. I was like, I love this. And now she wears them. I have a black Thursday hoodie that is like almost light gray at this point. It was black. And like the hand part of the zipper is broken off. Like you have to grab the actual zipper and pull it up and down. She wears that shit now.
They printed right over
Thursday
the zipper
down the side. Yeah. Thursday. It says right across. Yeah. It's just white text that says Thursday. Yeah. She wears it all the time. And I'm like, you don't understand the fucking miles I put on that shirt back then, and like how meaningful that is. And that thing's like 30 years old. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like,
that's what I'm saying.
It's crazy, like how the life of that. But I guarantee the print shop back then, when they printed that Thursday hoodie, didn't realize that this hoodie would be around 30 years and have, 900 impressions of somebody wearing it around.
Yeah.
Like, it's wild.
It is.
And you're over here fucking hand spraying every single one of those shirts, and you're like,
I know. Well, it was one design. I think it was like 700 or something. I'm just saying
in general, like.
And I was like, yeah, this is awesome. I was like, this is, because even shirt I'm wearing right now, this is just Splash that I did with Discharge. And I was like, I was so like happy to be doing it. As strange as that sounds, I was like, it was such a weird, I'm like, why are we doing this? Like, what does this pricing look like? What is this? I'm like, people don't ask for this. And then we get to do it on a mass level. And they're pretty experimental with a lot of things. So we've done a lot of stuff that no one else has ever asked us to done. And we're lucky.
That's awesome.
We're lucky to get to do that.
I'm happy for you.
Yeah. Thank you.
One other thing we talked about when we were there is it seems like you guys are very also involved in always trying to evolve or, grow with the technology or whatever. We were talking about the laser that you guys have and the importance that made to you. And then we were talking about DTF, which you guys had a new machine there. And there were a lot of other,
said about it.
We don't have to dive into that necessarily, but like there were a lot of things that I saw that you guys had that was kind of like, okay, cool. Like they're constantly trying to change things and evolve things. And we were talking about inks and how you wanted to, even though everything looked good, but you wanted to like change it again and evolve that situation. Like, what are you seeing twofold? One, do you feel like there's anything else right now that you want to dive into? Or do you think that maybe you need to rethink certain things and certain processes with, digital becoming more of a strong thing? We were talking about DTF. Do you feel like that is becoming more and more a strong thing in your business? Do you feel like screen print is mostly where a lot of your clients are headed? Do you feel like, there's certain technologies or things that you need to evolve in the print shop right now?
So I think what we do and like what we've established ourselves, that's our logo. Like what we've established ourselves as and our main client base aren't specifically people who are solely interested in DTF. Like a lot of people come here, like our better clients come here for like the integrity and the artistic aspect of it. And we're lucky enough to kind of build that into what we do. But DTF wise, we've seen a big increase in it, like in demand for it. Like just for example, like, bachelorette party's going on this week and they want 12 shirts and it's like a 10 color Jimmy Buffett and they don't care. And now they get to have them. 2 years ago, they weren't going to have them. We weren't going to do that. Right. And now they get to have them. And like, it's not even about art. It's about them laughing like, oh, that's a funny shirt. Like, wow. So like we do a lot of that. And I'm glad that we get to do that. I'd rather do that than not. So DTF, I think that's a beautiful way.
That's a beautiful way to put it because that's how I feel with it too. Like I don't love nobody loves the quality of DTF. No, they don't love, but I love I love the fact that it's a solution that helps people that otherwise we would have to say no, or we'd have to try to like weirdly upsell them. Like say they come in and want this 10 color Jimmy Buffett shirt for a bachelorette party. I would have been like, yeah, we can do this, but you have to order 50. Yeah. Or like we can do this, but we have to cut it down to a 3 color. You know what I mean? Like it was always this like we have to weirdly make it work somehow. Whereas now I can just be like, yeah, sure, no problem. Like I can tell this is for a bachelorette party. Most of you are going to wear this one time. And if not, you're going to keep it like in some like, thought journal or something of like, this is when I went to Susie's party or something. Like, it's not like you need to wear this constantly. Who cares if it starts to peel after 35 washes or whatever it is? Like, it is what it is. It has a purpose. And that's kind of how I see it. But I don't know. I feel like just more and more the way of shops having, 6 to 8 presses, it's like, okay, cool. Well, do we just get more smaller presses? Do we get more high color presses? Do we scale back on presses? Like, what is your thought on that when it comes to production?
That obviously is going to be different for everyone and what industries they tailor into. So right now, like what I said, that we work with a lot of bands. Like DTF isn't really touching that market at all yet. No. Maybe it will. I don't know. Maybe it will, but it's not even close because first of all, they don't want it. We have bands that are like, don't you dare give us DTF. Like even they'll just say it like straight out.
Right.
They're like, we weren't going to. But so a lot of that, what we do, like we're very far from that affecting that market. But I think people should definitely invest in DTF and take it very seriously. I don't know what exact answer you were looking for, but DTF is absolutely it's more of an important tool than I thought it was 2 years ago when we bought it. I was kind of like, all right, we'll humor this. We'll see what it is. And I remember at that time too, and I'm sure you were front and center for this. It was a big war, like DTF for screen.
Yeah.
And it just turned out that they were never even really at odds with each other at all.
No.
In some aspects, so for like a small manual job or something, but like a job, it really, to me, it just took the place of the stuff you weren't really going to do anyway. And then specialty garments. Like for my son's baseball team, they just did split jerseys and I DTF'd it on each side. And I'm like, they look fantastic. I'm like, you can't screen print that. Like we did embroidery on some of them too, but I'm like, what a perfect tool for DTF. Like 12 kids on a baseball field, nice jerseys, DTF. No one ever said, well, is this screen print? No one ever said anything. They look fantastic. Yeah. And I'm like, we wouldn't have made that 2 years. It just wouldn't have been made. I don't know what we would have did, but it wasn't that. So I'm like, I don't really see like, I feel like I'm not answering your question, that it was more specific.
You are. And I think that it's, I mean, we went more into the DTF direction, but I think that the thought that I got when I went in and you were showing me things was like, hey, we have this shop. This is our digital department. And you guys saw that there was a part of this industry or a need for, say, that DTF piece of equipment that you bought. Yeah. We don't need the name. And you were like, yeah, well, let's get it, let's figure it out. Let's become knowledgeable on that subject. And I think there's something to be said with that of like, oh, well, we don't necessarily have the business for it or whatever. You guys were more like, we want to be prepared and we're going to need this and let's get it. And let's be the people that people know we are, that we have that capability. And it was the same with other departments too, of like, okay, well, we were talking about having manuals still. And it was like, how often? I know, but that's what I'm saying is it was like, okay, well, you could just not have those and say, no, we're not going to do it.
We thought about
let's replace them with an auto. But it's like, no, we have people that print on them all day, every day. And they have benefits to them that you might not get with an auto. And it was, the screen department was like, well, I have an iMage STE sitting right here, but we have the laser now too, because it's an evolution that we want to invest in because we see things going that way. So I think that was something that I took from your place that I really appreciated versus like going to a lot of other shops of like, oh, well, we have this dirty old CTS that still runs, but we're going to keep using it. You guys were like, yeah, but we see the evolution and we want to get into it now so that we're masters of it by the time we need to be. So I'm saying that as a compliment of like,
well, thank you.
I saw that in a lot of parts of your shop where it was like, we're educating ourselves into these things and we have them. And I don't see that very often. So I thought that was kind of cool. That's why I was asking more of like, what is the next evolution that you see yourselves getting into?
I don't know. We just bought a sublimation printer. We just upgraded to a better one of that. And that's not something we even do that often. So we're just kind of investing. We do a lot of bandanas, sublimated bandanas, but that's something we invested in. Just be like, let's see where this goes. Like
that's exactly what I'm talking about. That's what I'm trying to say is it was like, you know what? Fuck it. Let's buy it and we'll see what happens.
That's what it was. I was like,
right.
Let's just see what happens. Cause there's a lot of people using sublimation, like a lot of sports teams, little league teams, like all that stuff. Like we could hit print and then press it onto a shirt. I was like, I'm sure it's way harder than that. But I was like, at least let's, like, who are we if we're not doing everything to some degree? Like,
That's exactly what I was getting to. My question was, I'm finding out more and more that, and this is probably why you guys are successful right now with all of this and post-COVID getting into sales, is you're opening the door to be a shop that's like, we can do it. Yeah. Let's just go back to Billy Strings because that's what we were talking about, is he could come to you and be like, I need, I don't know, a dog bandana or whatever that I want sublimated. You're like, yeah, cool, we can do it.
Yeah, we have to.
You don't have to be like, oh, I can do all your other merch, but I can't do the dog bandana. Or I can do this, but I can't do this. You're like, Well, we're in the process of learning that. We'll figure that out. We'll make it happen for you.
Yeah, and we don't ever really got into, the fake it till you make it that people do. I was like, no, we're like actually get the sublimation printer, learn how to work it,
Right.
so in case something happens, instead of being like, yeah, we could do it and then trying to figure it out, because that never goes well. But
Right.
no, staying on top of every aspect. And, I go to the trade shows. I've been going to them for many years, like staying on top of every aspect and seeing what's new coming out. Our like floor production manager, Mike, he's very into all of the tech and all of the new, even more so than me. So it's good to have that person too. But yeah, we definitely try. I think you have to. I don't think there's an option not to be as diverse as possible.
Is there anything else that you want to touch on with Axelrad that maybe we haven't so far?
No, not really specifically.
Okay, good.
I didn't really have an agenda or anything specific that I wanted to discuss.
We obviously didn't. We just went on fucking 35 random tangents, which all were awesome. So I'm happy that it went that way.
I think there's something to take away from that.
Do you happen to have a shop hack that maybe you want to share?
A shop hack?
I know one without you even thinking about it.
That you saw when you were here? Was it the computers?
Yeah. The fucking 2x4s.
Yeah, I'm so glad that you noticed that. For years, we were mounting the computers like on the presses or like somewhere where people had to walk to it on the wall. And I was like, it doesn't work. Like people, you have to make it as easy as possible. So I just put it on the dryer, like right behind them, and then recessed it so it wasn't in the way. So it's like, the 45 degree 2x4, and then just straight bolted the like computer stand onto it. And then they work fantastic. Like people just use it. It's like the right height.
To me, I look at, especially with our shop, like trying to maximize space and whatever. And you're like, well, I don't want to have this in the way. Or I see people who buy these like super heavy duty magnets for their press that has like a tablet on it and like all this other stuff. And it's like, I just liked the fact that it was like totally out of the way, wasn't whatever, and you have basically an entire computer. It was like mouse, keyboard, monitor, and it was mounted off of the the infeed of the dryer, and it was just like, it was in a perfect spot. I loved it, and it was made with fucking 2x4s, and it was spray painted black. And I was like, this
2x4s I spray painted.
This is fucking awesome. This right here is what DIY and screen printing is all about. Is people making shit work out of just like an idea. And it's not like, oh, I have to wait for Action Engineering to make this part or something. You're like, nah, dude, 2x4s and bolts, and I got a computer mounted to the dryer. Let's fucking go.
I'm glad that you appreciated it, because like, especially since you mentioned that I put the mouse and the keyboard there, and I was like, I'm not doing a touch screen with like sweaty printers, like, because when I'm printing, I was like, I want to just type it and I want to move a mouse, and like, it's easier. Like, instead of trying to touch screen it with all the small stuff. So it's like, I'm giving them the whole like kit and caboodle, and it's going to be out of the way, and we're going to rock and roll. And I'm glad you noticed it.
Fuck yeah, dude. But that's what
I did put some time into those.
I jokingly talk, it's not joke, but like, I talk about these things where it's like, I'll visit a very impressive shop or something, it's like, I'm at this place. I can't believe I'm here. And I'll walk away with like, the one thing that stuck in my mind was like the command hooks in the washout booth.
Yeah.
It's just like the stupidest shit where I'm like,
it is.
That makes perfect. Like, why didn't I think of that before? And why haven't I seen that in any other shop? And it's like, your 2x4 thing is something I've never seen before.
That's so funny.
And I'm like, it makes perfect sense. And I'm like, but that's the thing is where you look at it and you're like, this solves a problem that not a lot of other people have thought of. And there was something else stupid I saw recently. I say stupid. I don't mean stupid. I just mean that it's simple. Like, I saw something a little while ago that John McGee posted where it was like, somebody had like a 4-inch piece of PVC pipe over by the inks, and it was just had slices, like steps on each side of the PVC pipe, and they just put the spatulas to each ink color like in the slit of the PVC pipe. And I was like, this makes perfect sense. Like, this rule, somebody was like, I'm sick of picking up these dirty spatulas, they're all over the place, we can't put them in the ink bucket because the lid doesn't fit, or let's just cut the lid. It was like, no, let's just make a vertical column that we can slide all the spatulas in, and that's it. It's done and over with. It works, and it takes up no space. And I was like, it's stuff like that I look at and I'm like, this rules. Like,
yeah.
I'm so glad shit like this exists. And it's always some weird fucking artistic, DIYer that's like, yeah, I can do this. This makes perfect sense. And I love
I've
that.
seen
I
tons of
love
those over the
seeing
years.
that.
It's funny that you
it's-
mentioned that because I'm the same way. I'll tour a shop, and that's what I remember. I remember that little like thing that like you just never thought of, and you're like, oh my
Right.
God, that's genius. Yeah, same
Right.
thing.
It's like, oh, why is that sticker there? And they're like, oh, here's our beautiful production area. And I'm like, nah, it's that sticker that I can't get out of my head. Like, why did they have that? And whatever. Do you have anything that has changed your mind over the last 5 years when it comes to business or industry or anything like that?
Anything to change my mind in the past 5? So, I mean, this is almost getting into another topic, but with the emergence of AI recently, like for some reason, and this is going to sound crazy because I'm not normally an optimist, it gave me like more of an appreciation for like, that I think people are more, and I mean this in a business sense, as people start adopting like AI and advanced technology, that I think we're going to find out, and it's seeming to me already, that people are more resilient and are more desire a human connection more than we even thought already. And that's just, it's a weird thought as things go. I'm like, I really have like this hope that like we might have hit rock bottom, like sociologically, in terms with all the technology coming in and what is the future and why are we even really trying to do this? That in a business sense, that I feel like the Amazonification of things, like that almost, I'm not gonna say it ran its course, but people are like hip to it. Like, no, like maybe we're always gonna have Amazon. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is like, people have learned to appreciate human experience again, because I feel like we've went too far and there was a threshold and we're all just like, no, we found it. We're good. Like, we don't need to go any further. We're good. We still need to see each other. We still need to be people. Maybe when I order my shirts, I want to go talk to someone. Maybe and I'm like, it's only within the past year or so where I'm like, I think that like the way things were going is going to get walked back a little bit and for the better. And I'm not an optimist, but that's an optimistic thing to say. But I
fully agree with you. I actually just talked about this in the newsletter that I wrote the other day, where it was kind of like, I'm adopting certain AI things. And I think what people like to fight about, or they like to say, it's funny, a quick tangent on this is like, so many people are so anti-AI because it's the cool thing to do and say like, AI, fuck this, whatever. But it's like, people are trolling you now, where it's like they put up a photo of a Van Gogh painting on Twitter or something, and they'll say like, look at this AI piece of shit or whatever. And there'll be like 900 comments of people being like, yeah, the brushstrokes look like shit. You can tell it's whatever. And it's like, nah, dude, it's the fucking real one. Like, you're just saying shit to say shit now because it's whatever. And I'm not like pro AI by any means. I'm just saying that there's certain aspects of it that I'm looking at and judging and being like, okay, well, if in a print shop in here, if I can get a tool that works, say I built it myself or a friend built it, or it's a whatever service, I don't care. If it gets my front desk person or customer service people being able to, instead of out of 8 hours a day, 4 hours is like mundane data entry, like making invoices or whatever. And then the other 4 is them actually talking to a human being and having customer service. If it gets them to 7 hours of customer service and 1 hour of data entry, that's a fucking win, because I would rather them have more face-to-face time with the client than to do the other thing. Like, if that's pro people talking to people, then I think that's what's happening. And there's certain things with this, like what you just said, is I feel like there's this wave now, and I hope it just goes 10x or 100x or whatever, where it's like, even with screen printing, of like, fuck this like digital stuff, fuck this whatever. Like, I want the vinyl record of music again. I want the screen. I want to be able to touch and feel the print. I want to be able to see imperfections. I want to be able to see that there's an underbase poking out here, or that this didn't quite go so well, or there's a fingerprint or a fly in the print, or fucking whatever. Like, I think people are starting to be like, I am willing to not only go that route, but I will pay extra for it.
Yes.
or I want to see this thing. It's like the Billy Strings thing of like, I want the quality. I want it screen printed. I want it on this quality blank. That's important to me. I think that that's coming around so much harder now because of the AI thing, that people want to have real conversations with each other. They want to, dive into this. And that's what I want for my print shop is I literally had this conversation with Leanna this morning of like, I want us to focus more on customer relationships than just, we can get this done. Like what I don't want to do is get an email from a customer, we answer it and it goes into some folder on Google, on Gmail, and we don't talk to them again until they reach out again. I want it to be like in X amount of time, we reach back out to them and we have a conversation, or we say how their day is going, or we send them cookies, or we fucking do this other thing, because I want it to be a relationship driven thing. I don't want it to be, I just need shirts. This is the place where we get them done.
Yeah.
And I think that AI is helping with that to a degree. I know there's this whole evil side and whatever. I think that it's getting us back to being like, I want to talk to Dennis face to face.
Yes.
I want to write an email to somebody that is not just, I had a thought, put it in a chat GPT and it wrote it for me. I want to have that conversation. I want to call somebody. I want to FaceTime. I want to Zoom. More and more now, I am reaching out to customers and being like, I would love to have a conversation about printing more shirts for you. Can we hop on a Zoom call? Like, and I'm doing that because I know that it'll be more beneficial if they can see me and we're having a conversation than if I just type up some bullshit email.
You're right. And I think the whole sentiment of what I was trying to say is what you just said, is that I think we didn't realize before how important the human connection and experience was. And now that it's threatened, we're valuing it a little more. And I think too, I'm not against AI or adopting it in certain capacities, but it is tricky because you do have a responsibility to say you make a person's day go from 8 hours to 4. What are you going to do with that 4 hours now? Are you going to lay them off, or are you going to make your business more human, where now they get to use that 4 hours to, get to a human level we couldn't get to before because they were doing clerical work. So, it really comes down to how you end up using it in the end. And I think we both agree that, the human experience is paramount. And that's the one thing I do love about screen printing, is that it still has that very tangible physical aspect to it of like, this is going on a shirt and a human being is going to wear it. And that's it. There's something about it that's very material and very of the world. And I do like that.
Yeah. I love that. All right. Greatest shop fail.
Oh man. Just one? Just one?
What one comes to mind the most?
Greatest shop fail. Oh, okay. We shipped 3,000 shirts for a basketball event to the wrong zip code. I was supposed to go to Boston and we typed in like the wrong zip code. And this was a crazy shipping error. This would have been 10 years ago. And it went to Philadelphia and it was like a 1-day turnaround. It was 3,000 shirts for the event. That was, I think it was Thursday we shipped. The event was on Saturday and they got held up. So once it hit UPS, the system is like, okay, this is a wrong zip code. The packages all got broken up. They didn't stay together. They went to like different places. So I'm calling all over. And this is when UPS still answered their phones. And they're like, yeah, there's probably 3 of them out back in a trailer. Do you want to come look yourself? I was good there. They were very punky and sarcastic. I don't know what experience you have with UPS, but they're a fascinating bunch to try and get a hold of. They have a very interesting attitude. They don't believe in customer service because they don't really have any competition. So we did 3,000 shirts to the wrong location. So what we did was we drove to the distributor in I think Philadelphia, so 2 hours south, got the shirts again, brought them back, printed them that night, immediately drove them as we were done printing them. And 3,000 shirts takes like 8 hours realistically to process and print. And then drove them straight to the event. And it was in Boston, which is like 4.5 hours from us, and just got there in time. And that's might not be our biggest one, but that's the one that came to mind of like, all because we entered I think the first digit of the zip code wrong. It was something where it flipped the zips and the guy shipping it didn't catch that it turned Boston to Philadelphia. And you're talking $10,000, like just over that one little thing, whatever it was. And and just how quick in screen printing those little things can turn into now someone's driving 2 hours to pick up blanks for us to print them tonight. And we had no
it goes exactly to
intention
what
of
we
doing
said
any of
earlier.
this.
Yeah. You wake up in the morning of like, oh, these are the things I'm going to hit today. And you never can expect the thing that actually derails your entire day, if not entire day and night and the next day and whatever. It's like, it's so wild, the things that we have to, again, it goes back to just like being willing to problem solve and get kicked in the nuts today. That's
every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had something similar real quick of like, I had a live print in Long Beach last year, and it was like a littlest thing on the address that was messed up. And it was this overnighted thing. I got like patches from China. It was this whole thing of like, I need these in Long Beach. Well, they shipped them, and I was like, these are going to get here right. They're going to get here right. And they're like, yep. And then the day that I expected them, they shipped them to New York instead of California. And it was just like, guys, what the fuck? And it was like, it says like the whole, like everything on the address was like the hotel room, like it literally said like Long Beach Convention Center, like all this other stuff. And then like the last of it was like New York 13862.
So it's the same situation that we had.
And it just went, but the thing is like halfway across the country, it's like, there's nothing I can do. Like, so what they ended up doing is I ended up getting them, missing a day of the event with them, did other things, and then had the shop overnight them from New York to California. I got them the next morning, went to the show, had them, and it was just like, this is stupid.
The stakes
There's
are
nothing
so
you do
high.
about it. It just is what it is.
That's the crazy. We'll print like $5,000 worth of shirts every day and just send it off with UPS and hope it gets there. And doing bands on tour, if they don't get their package, it's so hard to reroute it and get it to them because they're gone the same night. That's another huge aspect of what I do specifically, like the logistics of that. And so there's a lot of shop fails.
A lot of those is, I don't know, it's not really a shop hack because if you're doing this, you already kind of do it. But like a lot of those where it's like it needs to be there for a specific day, or I don't know the venue and I don't know if anybody's going to be there for like load in or whatever time, I'll always ship to a UPS store because you could ship it to the UPS store, they'll hold it, and then they're open all the time. And it's like, you just go with your driver's license, pick it up. The downfall is for the band or whatever that they have to go to a UPS store, but there's one on like every fucking block in a city.
Yeah.
And it's
We've done that a few times.
Yeah. It's just easier.
That is a good shop hack, actually.
But most of the time too, is like, we've done it where we ship, it's like, oh, we need this overnighted and it's got to go to the venue. And then they get there and they're like, what's the tracking number? We don't see the boxes. And it's like, oh, failed delivery because nobody was there. Like the venue doesn't open until 8 p.m. and UPS showed up at 4. They're just like, cool, nobody's here. Throw it back in the truck and drive away. And then they miss the show. And it's like, oh, I'd rather just ship it to UPS store. And it's like, oh, when you get to the venue, look up 2 blocks away, the UPS store, go to the van, pick them up, go back to the venue. You guaranteed have your shirts. Like, I don't know. It just, that always seems easier to me. It's like more peace of mind of like you're actually going to get your shirts at the venue.
Maybe I'll start doing that more often.
Last question. Top 4 favorite movies of all time.
Oh man. So my first favorite movie of all time is kind of like an obscure indie movie. And I hate to be that guy. I don't want to be that guy. So it's in it, but it's okay because all my other favorite movies are like really popular cliche movies. Okay. But there's a movie that came out in 2005. It's called Brick. It was like Joseph Gordon-Levitt was in it. And I forget the director's name, Ryan Johnson. It's an amazing movie. And it comes on like HBO and stuff. It's not like a sleeper, but it's an amazingly strange like detective movie. I feel like I've
heard of it.
A lot of people don't. That's why I even presented it.
What was it about?
It was about like a high school aged like kid who was kind of like a loner, but they spoke really weird. They gave him like 1940s like lingo. It was almost like a French noir film. And his ex-girlfriend was murdered, and he set out to figure out why. And that's what the whole movie's about. It's an amazing, amazing movie by every metric, in my opinion. It's my favorite. The music, it's my favorite movie of all time. My number 2 favorite movie is Titanic. I don't know what to say.
Yeah.
I love I love the whole lore of the Titanic, the whole concept. Fantastic movie. I could sit and watch it. I could quote tons of it.
I've seen it a million times. I love it. Yeah. We just saw it in the theater not that long ago because it had like the like a Fathom, whatever anniversary back out. And it was awesome to watch in the theater.
Yeah. And I know that's pretty cliche. So that kind of justifies my number one indie movie.
Okay.
And then cool. Number 3 is the movie A League of Their Own, the softball movie.
Wonderful. Yeah.
With Gina Davis. Do you know that movie?
Yeah, it's the Tom Hanks is the coach.
Tom Hanks. I fucking love that movie. I was just like, I watched like clips of it on YouTube. I'm like, just something about like the whole.
No crying in baseball.
Like, no crying in baseball. But there's something to me, it's like, it's a combination of things. But I think the thing I tend to like about movies the most is like the overall atmosphere, like less than the plot, less like the way it looks, the way it feels. I'm like, that's what really draws me in. And that's why the movie that I mentioned, Brick, is my number one. It's definitely, it just gives you like a feeling that like I like. And it's not even really about anything specifically. And then I only have 4 because 4 is a weird number. It's like a psychological trick you're doing, asking 4. And the only reason I have 4 is because there's a movie. It's a pretty popular movie. Justin Timberlake was actually in it. It's called Alpha Dog. You know that movie?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Fucking love that movie. And that's for the same reason. Like, I remember the first time I watched that movie, I was like, oh, this movie's kind of cool. It feels good. And I didn't know the story, like the true story to go. And then they just killed the kid. And I'm like, oh my God. I was like, the movie just did such a 180. And it was so jarring to me. Spoiler alert, if no one had seen it. Yeah. That I was like, I did not see that coming. It was like, and I felt like that did so much justice to how heinous the situation was. That like they brought you along feeling like nothing was going to happen. And then it just like took this insane dark turn that I didn't totally see coming because I didn't know the story. And I was like, they nailed it. I was like, that nailed the like feeling. I felt like sick. And I was like, what a great movie. And Olivia Wilde. I love Olivia Wilde. So that was like one of her first movies.
Yeah, she's got a new movie coming out right now.
Yeah,
it's like
it seems really good.
Sex movie or whatever. It's like she seems like very well. She's got one in theater right now. I think with Seth Rogen, where it's like about the people upstairs. It's got like Edward Norton or whatever. But she's got one coming out now. That's the one I'm thinking of. She's got one that's about to come out that she's like a sex worker or something, and it looks like super intense. But I love the actor who's in it, the younger kid. He's Philip Seymour Hoffman's son. And he's been in like a bunch of stuff recently that's like really well. And I'm like, I'm really glad that like he's doing well. He was in that other movie that I didn't see because I don't really like the horror kind of movies. It's not necessarily horror. It's maybe more thriller, but it's on that line. It was like Long Walk or something, I think, where like they had to keep walking or they would get killed basically. No. He was in that. He's in like a bunch of other stuff too. But like, I like to see him doing it because I love Philip Seymour Hoffman. And I'm like, I don't want him to, I want him to earn his way, not be like a, like, oh, this is my dad kind of thing and whatever.
The movie film was Philip Seymour Hoffman where he did Capote. I think it might have been called like Truman Capote. Amazing.
Yeah, it's called Capote.
Amazing movie.
I saw that movie like 6 times because I worked at the movie theater when it came out.
Really?
Yeah. That's awesome. That movie, it's funny that you bring that up. And this is like a vulnerable thing to say is like, there's a lot of movies like that where you don't know how to pronounce it and nobody really does. Yeah. And I remember I worked at the theater and I was super embarrassed about this because I found out later that it was Capote, which you'd think it would be. But I remember at the time, I thought it had this like weird, like Frenchness to it or something. And I kept telling people when they were coming in, because I was like ticket ripping or whatever, that it was like Capote or whatever. Yeah. And I kept saying it. And I remember I kept saying it for like a couple weeks or something. And someone's like, it's fucking Truman Capote. Like, it's just, it's called Capote, you fucking idiot.
Yeah, that's funny.
So like that movie sticks in my brain of like an embarrassing moment of just like, oh yeah.
It's funny though, because the font, not to keep going on about this, but the font that they used for the movie, and you said French, would like lead me to believe that it was pronounced differently than it looked. Right. So I can kind of empathize with you there. Honestly, like the way the film was presented was kind of alternative and like Frenchy and like European, like European. It had a whole like European feel to it. So I could see how you would make that. Yeah, interesting. But that was a great movie.
Thank you, dude. I appreciate you doing this with me today. I want to talk more shop. I want to hang out more. Again, it's awesome that you guys are only like an hour away.
Yeah, anytime.
I did not realize that at the time. It's awesome. So thank you for doing this with me today, and I appreciate it, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your Tuesday evening.
Yeah, I appreciate you very much. I had a good time. Thank you.
Thanks, dude.